I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. That's right, it's your friends, the BDA, flying solo for the moment. I'll see who jumps on later on, but I'm pretty sure there will be people jumping on, because let me tell you something right now. Yes, indeed, it's an Open Lines Friday. Anything goes. Open Lines Friday, which means we're going to put up the phone. Well, actually, the phone number's right there. The phone lines are open if you want to call in. And I'll be posting a StreamYard link within the next 5 minutes, because we actually want to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on in boxing. As you can see, the title of this video is called The Four Queens. I said I didn't want to talk about the lightweights anymore until they fought each other, but there's some new developments coming out that have irked me. And I normally don't try to complain too much, but I felt, you know what, this is one of those shows where we actually have to point a couple of things out and straighten some people out, if you know what I mean. Make a couple of phone calls, make a couple of power moves, and let these cocksuckers know we're not going to take it anymore. We got to put our foot down every once in a while, fellas. Come on now. Shout out to Triple JJJ, Reverend Pickles, OJ Gaiman, Tin Aravind, Baseline, Elvis ECL, Chris Court, Mr. Jones. See King Bucho in the house there as well. Chris Gonzalez, shout out to Chris Gonzalez, Mr. Straight 50, Jay Perez, Mr. Coxey, Official Scorecard Boxing, shout out to Mr. Official Scorecard Boxing Science, and so on and so forth, and to more people that will be coming in, I'm sure. Guys, thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we still got Gonzalo in our prayers. His son, Mateo, of course, you guys already know, but for those of you that don't know, Mateo is in intensive care. He's been in there for more than 50 days intubated, which is abnormal. Usually the people get intubated for about 30 days. The pneumonia lasts about 30 days. It's lasted longer than that. We reached the goal that we wanted to, but of course there's still a long way to go. Gonzalo will have to pay for the drugs and for the doctors and more treatment afterwards. So, I mean, every little bit helps. Keep donating what you can for friend Gonzalo. And, you know, if you can't donate anything, at least spread the word, man. Let's keep spreading the word and helping Gonzalo out. All right. Wait a minute. The phone. Let me just check if the phone lines are ready here. Because I thought they were. Now all of a sudden I'm getting a message that they are not. Hold on a second. Actually, you know what? Let me put the volume up here. But yes, fellas, I want you to call in. And like I said, I will be posting a Discord link, a StreamYard link, I should say. What's with the phone calls here?
Start your show now. Press 1.
Hold on a
Since it
second.
appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
That's right. We already got a show going, so what's the problem here, lady? Hold on a second. All right. Anyway, somebody try calling in if you can. Let me just invite a couple of people here on the Discord, see who shows up. And,
Start your show now. Press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
All right. One.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live...
Yeah. Okay. So I'm inviting a couple of people from the Discord. And once I get this going, we'll get more people on the StreamYard. And, of course, taking your phone calls. So stay tuned for that one, fellas. Real quick. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm inviting a couple of people. Get a nice little party going. There we go. All right. Now, let me read a couple of comments here first because I want to see if I missed something. Tirin Aravin says the 3 queens, actually. Lopez has earned the right to be a diva. First of all, nobody earns the right to be a diva, Tirin Aravin. Lopez has done the most out of everybody. Doesn't give him a free pass to do all the jawing that he's been doing too, along with the other guys. But I will say this, he's not as bad as some other people. Chris Gonzalez says BDA is somewhat of a queen himself. Now, wait a minute. That's coming from a guy who's living in Thailand, by the way. Come on, Chris. Mikey BZ says, Chris, how dare you? Yeah, how dare he? Elvis ECL says scorecard science. Okay. Jay Perez says, we all know which queen Mr. BDA would go for. Now that is, I don't know what I'm getting at from all ends today, man, but it's on call for. And I have a good mind to shut this episode right now. Shut it off. If you guys don't behave. You're on thin ice, my friends. What else? Baseline says, Johnny lied about his peer's illness. Disgraceful. I don't know what they're talking about. Chris Gonzalez says, Mikey BZ, as one of BD's patrons, I get the privilege of attacking his masculinity at every opportunity. Well, I got no answer for that one. Let me tell you. I think Chris has a good point. Speaking of good points, let me post the StreamYard link here. There we go. Anybody want to come on and talk about... Because, okay, why do I all of a sudden want to talk about the 4 queens, rather? Why am I jumping in there and saying that? Well, you might have seen what happened this past week where... The fuck is this? Okay, where Ryan Garcia came out and pulled out of his fight with Javier Fortuna, citing health and well-being. Now, of course, who knows what that means? Could be anything. Very vague, very ambiguous. But my first reaction was, oh boy, mental issues. Hope the guy's doing well. If he wants to forgo the fight and he needs to get his affairs in order, more power to him. Hope the best for him. Then I started thinking back at some of the things Steve Kim said when he was on this show. Some of the things he repeated alongside Mario Lopez on their podcast, The 3 Knockdown Rule. And then I saw this photograph. I don't know if this is a recent photograph, because again, somebody could take a video and just say, oh, this is from recent times, but it's actually from 2 years ago. You know what I mean, right? But this is Ryan Garcia appears to be in some form of hotel room. It's not a motel, that's for sure. He's with a voluptuous woman. I hope that's a woman, by the way. Continuing with the theme here of tranny jokes. And there you see him in a nice tropical place. Seems to be having fun. Again, we can't glean too much from this video. But then I said, wait a minute. Let's rewind here for just a moment. The guy pulls out of a fight, meaning he's not in any mental shape to go on with it. He can't handle the stress of a big fight. All right, fine. But then he's well enough to go out and party? It's like, I see people were defending him and they were saying, well, sometimes a slice of pussy is the best answer or the best cure for some depression or social anxiety, whatever. And I agree. But then why didn't he do that and then wait and see if the anxiety or whatever passed and then he could continue with the fight? Because he just threw the Zone and the La Hoya and the Golden Boy out for a loop. Because now they got to cancel the fight, or now they got to... Joseph Diaz, bless his heart, says that he's willing to step in there as a replacement for Ryan Garcia. But why is it... So he's willing to do it at the last minute, but Ryan Garcia has a little bit of a hissy fit and he can do it. Again, I don't pretend to know what's going on with Ryan Garcia's world. I've been trying to call him. He doesn't answer me back. In fact, I think I just got hit with a letter that says that I can't come near him more than 60 feet, otherwise I get arrested. I don't know what. I think that's a bad joke or something from somebody. But the point is, I don't know what was going on with him, but I started thinking back about the things that we've heard of him. And they were saying that that remember that Ryan Garcia had asked for a specific fight, there was going to be a deposit, and that if he pulled out of the fight or for whatever reason the fight didn't end up happening, he was going to get the money either way. Sounds very fishy, right? Sounds like a guy that just wants easy money right away. Then he pulled out of one fight. He got into it with a Golden Boy. So it all seems very fishy. It's not the first time he's done. Now, did he do all those things, pull out the fights because he didn't like the venue and so on and so forth, because he was having mental issues? Maybe. Maybe not. See, that's the problem when somebody cries wolf. And yes, I did say cry wolf so often. It's kind of hard to know where they're coming from now. Are they telling the truth? Because then you see him there in just a fucking vacation with a voluptuous woman with pendulous breasts, and you're thinking, wait a minute. Wait just a gosh darn minute. What is going on here? Who's telling the truth? And not for nothing. Not for nothing. But the amount of jawing he was doing, all these lightweights, the amount of jawing they've been doing is ridiculous. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about.
How tall are you? You 5'5". You don't need a ladder to hit me. You're going to need a Stairmaster. Boy, you won't be able to touch me.
All right. Hold on a second. I think we're having some connection issues here. Testing 1, 2. Oh, well, he's Can you fellas hear me? No? Well, how about... Well, let me know, man. Can hear now. It's buffering. Yeah. That's great. Well, I got to restart the phone calls here. Give me just a second. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. There was a show called Scare Tactics. And it was a hidden camera show. They would people with, fucking fake aliens and ghosts and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was actually pretty funny. But there was one where they threw people a curveball and they would tell them, listen, we're going to prank somebody. But then it turns out they were the ones being pranked. So they would show them all these, these guys would not know how to act. It was really bad acting. And that's what Ryan Garcia reminds me of. Let's take a look at this again. This Ryan Garcia pretending to be calling Tank Davis out, all right?
Life, just different. Just, I don't care what you say. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. Boy, I don't care. You too ugly to be champ.
I mean, come on. Now let's take a look at bad acting from Fear Antics, the fake show within Scare Tactics. Hold on a second.
Help! There's a werewolf! There's a werewolf! No, there's a werewolf!
That's what Ryan Garcia's acting reminds me of. His false bravado. Now, hey, could be the social anxiety, right? We're gonna blame that on it. We're gonna blame his whole cringe behavior on false bravado. I don't know. You tell me. All right, hold on a second. What's going on here? Phone calls ain't working, fellas. Something's up. I think the Ryan Garcia cartel got to us from Florida. The Ryan cartel is attacking us, fellas. We need to pool our resources together and fight back. That's what we need to do. Because this type of shit ain't gonna saying you're too short. Yeah, by the way, yeah, Chris Core says that's kind of disrespectful saying you're too short. Well, listen, he can talk all the smack he wants, but that's precisely my point. It's all these lightweights are talking all this smack, and they're not fighting each other. I would understand the talking the smack if they're fighting each other, but the fact that they're just going around there gallivanting, that's right, I said gallivanting in Ryan Garcia, and then blaming mental issues for it. I mean, again, we could all be wrong, right? He could be under some sort of mental duress. But, then we see him in a hotel with a fucking voluptuous woman. I hope that's not a relative of his, by the way. That'd be pretty creepy. Actually, I could work with that if I had a camera. Anyway, the point is, it's just not a good look, right? Tank Davis, on the other hand, what's he doing? He's running into pregnant women in the highway. He seems to be taking lessons from John Jones. I mean, it's a whole mess, these lighter divisions. And when it comes to Devin Haney, look, he's fighting Jorge Linares. That's actually, I think out of all those fights, he's the best. Because I want to reiterate something. The Fortuna fight for Garcia wasn't that bad a fight. The kombucha fight for Teofimo Lopez, it ain't that bad. The guy's undefeated. He's quick. If Teofimo Lopez knocks him out, hey, he's stopping a guy. Nobody's ever beaten before, so got to give him some props for that. Devin Haney Linares, I think out of all of those, that's one of the most intriguing fights, if not the most intriguing. And Tank Davis fighting Mario Barrios is actually a pretty difficult fight for him. moving up in weight, taking on a taller, fast guy who can crack as well. I mean, let me tell you, that's a dangerous fight for him. But then all the talking they're doing, and they're not fighting each other. And that's the other thing about Devin Haney is he keeps on going about how his title is the best. It's a paper title, man. It's a paper title. He's been doing a little bit of talking on social media. It's actually his father. He's the one that's been doing the most talking for him. Reminds me of Angel Garcia and Danny Garcia a little bit. Although Bill Haney's antics are nowhere near as outrageous as what Angel Garcia was pulling off. Let's read a couple of comments here. Don't forget, fellas, open lines Friday. Anything goes, which means we get a StreamYard link that I posted there in the whatchamacallit, the chat. We got the phone lines open as well, phone number in there. Somebody call in and let me know if it's working because the internet shut down for a couple of seconds. Don't forget to donate to Gonzalo. Hold on a second. I didn't even put the GoFundMe link. No, yeah, it's in the description, but listen, just for the heck of it, let's keep this up, fellas. Gonzalo's son, Mateo, is not out of the woods yet, so there's the link there. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, but by the way, again, speaking of cringe, man, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at Ryan Garcia here. So he's saying he's pulling out of the fight. And that's the other thing is there's very few things that are worse than when a guy uses mental issues or tries to play the victim in order to pull off a scam of this magnitude. Pulling out of the fight, again, it's not the first time he's done it. In fact, over at Steve Kim and Mario Lopez were talking about that. They were sort of intimating that the zone wasn't happy with Ryan Garcia's situation, and that on top of that, they weren't sure whether to believe the guy. Can you believe that? Means that he must have pulled that off before, but never told anybody, or they never made it public, or they already know who they're dealing with, and they're not too sure whether to believe him. Now, I gotta ask you, fellas, wouldn't you believe these two guys? Look at that. They look like nice boys. Wouldn't hurt a fly. Yeah, they might be doing some disgusting stuff behind the closed doors, but other than that, I don't think they look. By the way, what is it with Ryan Garcia? Who told him it was a good idea to tilt his head that way and give that look? I mean, I don't think he's got anybody in his life that tells him, look, maybe taking a photograph like this is not such a good idea. I don't think he's got many people in his life that are telling him that some of the things he pulls off aren't good ideas. But anyway, who am I to judge, right? Don't forget, fellas, open phone lines. Call in. This is your show. We got, who the fuck is it? Kelmer. Yo, Kelmer, what's up, man? What's that?
Salute.
Salute, man.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Thank you for being on. All right, so what do you make of this whole Ryan Garcia saying he's got mental issues? You call bullshit on this, or you believe him?
Oh, this is my honest opinion. I call bullshit on it because, I mean, it's not the first time he pulls out of the fight. Remember when he was supposed to face Linares? And then, it didn't go downhill from there because I don't know, maybe he thought he couldn't beat him. Next thing you know, he fought through Campbell. In my opinion, I'm not that impressed, you know. And then he's about to fight for Tuna, which I think was going to be a tough fight. And then, he pulls out. I mean, what do you want me to think, you know? Thoughts?
Well, it's not even just he pulled out. It's he pulled out and then a video surfaces of him at the beach. Or some sort of beachside resort.
That too. And then, he, cloud chased Tank Davis. And then he says that he has a better fight than that. And then it's Manny Pacquiao. I don't know what happened with that one, and then next thing you know, it's Fortuna. I don't know what to believe, you know, but whatever. I think it's BS.
Yeah, because of the precedent, right? The fact that he's gotten into it with his own promoter before, the fact that he's asked for a fight and the money up front, and not the money up front, but that he asked for some sort of deposit in escrow or whatever, and that if the fight for whatever reason didn't go off, he would still get the money. I mean, this guy seems to me and I don't want to judge because he's 23 or something. He's already got 2 kids. I don't want to judge too much, but it just, when you take that into consideration, everything else we're talking about, it just seems like a guy that doesn't really have a lot of control over his life. Or am I wrong here?
Well, I don't know. I think what he says goes because, I mean, he is a star at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, that's the other thing is he got a little bit too much success too early, if you ask me. Let me ask you, Kellemer, out of all these guys, the Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Ryan Garcia. Who's the one that really irks you, rubs you the wrong way?
I gotta say Devin Haney. I gotta say
Really?
Devin Haney. Yeah, because he's a cloud chaser too. Like when you go through, there's a list he cloud chase like Mikey Garcia, Jose Cepeda, Teofimo. Who else? Like I mean, he's not better than. I mean, he's a bad cloud chaser as well. Like I don't know, I have no respect for that. That's just my opinion.
Right. Now, well, let me throw a little counter argument to that. Just food for thought. He's actually fighting a pretty good fighter in Jorge Linares.
The thing with that one is, I mean, I like the fight. Don't get me wrong, but wasn't he supposed to fight for Tuna? Like, hasn't he been waiting for a while for a title shot?
Yeah, I don't know the situation about that. Yeah, at some point he was gonna. Yeah, for Tunis, I think he's had like about 3-4 fights lined up, and they all ended up falling for one reason or the other.
Yeah, like something seems wrong right there. I guess he's the real boogeyman right now.
Yeah, he's the mythical boogeyman that we always talk about. That's true.
So I don't know. I mean, I like this fight to see what happens, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that Devin Haney picked him, I don't know. They're saying that they picked him. I don't know how true that is. It might tell you something.
You think Haney could stop him?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, didn't he lose to Pablo Cano Linares?
Yeah.
In the first round. I guess he's not. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I mean, he's there to get hit. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. And Devin Haney supposedly in his last fight he had a broken hand. I don't know if you know about that.
Which fight?
Against Gamboa.
Devin Haney had a broken. I mean, Devin Haney had a broken hand. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, like that was a rumor. I guess he had surgery on that hand.
Oh well,
but he didn't let anyone know. I don't know if you knew that.
Nah, I don't know.
Yeah, there was rumors about it too. So I don't know how true that was. But they were saying that's why his power didn't like show up in that fight.
Oh yeah. I think now I remember his father said something, but that's why they were. Yeah. His father said that's why they were working so much on the jab. Listen, could be. Nobody likes excuses from anybody. Are you outside there, Kelmer? You're breathing pretty heavily on your mic.
Oh my bad. No, there's some music in the background. Let me just mute it.
No problem, man. No problem. But I mean, yeah. Listen. If he had a broken hand, injured hand, whatever. All right. I assume I can understand that. I think I can understand it, but still, it wasn't a good performance. I think the Linares fight, though, it's a pretty good one, man. And some people are saying, well, Linares has been stopped before. Yeah, he's been stopped, but if you can't stop him, what are you going to do? Are you going to be able to outbox him? Because there's only one guy out there that's been able to do that for the most part. That was Lomachenko. He was able to outwork him and then finally took him out. All these other guys, they take him out within 3 rounds, Linares. Or DeMarco, he was losing almost every round, and then within 2 rounds, Linares' face started falling off. So
yeah.
Okay, because apparently the internet was going off here. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'd rather see all those guys fight them some slack for the moment, but eventually at the end of the year, they got to fight each other, right?
Yeah, I agree. And then with Tank Davis, right? Like, I thought better fights were gonna come, at 130 or 135, and then like he goes to 40. It's not a bad fight, but like. It's not fights that people are excited about.
Yeah, man. Listen, some of these fights, they're the kombucha fight. It ain't bad for Lopez. Neither is the Haney fight versus Linares, and even Davis and Barrios. It's a difficult fight, man, for Davis. Unless they do something where they actually tell Barrios, look, you gotta weigh in at 138 or something. If they do that, then I'm gonna say, come on, this is BS.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll have to see, man. But now, how tired are you of talking about these 4 guys? Because I didn't want to talk about it, but then I saw this whole Ryan Garcia thing, and at first, my first inclination was, I feel sorry for the guy, or have sympathy at least. But then I saw the stuff he was pulling, and some questions are arising about whether he's actually got mental issues, and I said, you know what? There's few things worse out there than a guy that that uses his tries to get sympathy from people in order to con them. So how? My question is, if it didn't even make sense, how tired are you of these four guys? Do you want to stop talking about them and then wait and see who they fight after they get through these guys, if they get through them?
I mean, I might give it to like the end of the year. Like the thing with these lightweights, they have too much hype, and I guess people are like frustrated right now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So I'll give it to the end of the year. Hopefully they fight each other. I actually thought the Ryan and Tank was gonna happen, but boxing fooled us again. It's not going that way.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one where people said, whoa, they're doing a lot of talking. Hold on, give me 2 seconds here. They were doing a lot of talking, and it seemed for a while, hey man, these guys might actually end up fighting each other, and then whoopsie daisy.
To start your show now, press 1.
Hold on.
To hear important
trying to establish the phone calls here. Let me read a couple of comments from the chat before we continue. Reverend Pickle says, Conlan, the new WBO champ.
Start your show now, press 1.
Jay Perez says, I could see Linares upset Haney. I just don't know which version of Jorge we will see. Chris Court says, you were weird.
Your show will go.
Weirdos wizard sleep. Oh, apparently there was a fake wizard sleep.
3, 2,
hold on a second.
1.
All right, I'm opening up the phone list again.
We are sorry, but we're experiencing a problem with our system. Please try your call again later or report a problem through the Blog Talk Radio webpage.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions.
They're trying to tell me. All right. Sorry about that, fellas. The phone lines keep screwing up over here. Oh, again, there's a problem with the phone lines, they're telling me. Jeez, Luis. All right, you know what? For the moment, just StreamYard. And then we'll see what happens with the phone. Once I get more people here and everybody can talk amongst each other, I'll sort this out. Here's the StreamYard link again. We're talking about the four queens. Again, you can talk about anything you want. So, Kelmer, you tell me, man. If you're tired of these four guys, we can talk about something else. It's on you, man.
No, I mean, I like the subject, I just wonder what Tank's going to do next after Barrios, because it seems like he's ducking competition. When you look at 130, right, there's like Valdez, there's Shakur, there's Herring. Like, he could have unified right there at 130. And then there's 135. Then he goes to 140, which I never saw that coming. Did you see that one coming?
Not really, man. But hold on a second. Yeah, well, let me ask you this. Who do you think, first of all, Tank Davis, you think he gets past Barrios?
I honestly, like, when it comes to Floyd picking his opponents, he never fails, in my opinion.
Now, do you think, actually, because I've heard that from some people, they say, well, Mayweather's the problem. Do you think Mayweather's the problem, or do you think he's actually the only thing preventing Tank Davis from falling into a life of crime, or even leading to prison or whatever?
I think he is the problem, man. Honestly, because I think Tank wants all those fights, with big names. But there's a risk. Like, if he loses those fights, I guess his stock falls down, and that's a risk that I'm willing to take because they're all about the money.
Yeah, man, I don't know about that though, because again, Mayweather could actually. It's two points of view. Mayweather is actually making money off of Tank Davis fighting, a bunch of slugs, and he's content with that, and he wants to keep that going until there's a big fight that they think they can make maximum money off of. Or Tank Davis is a problem. Because look, I don't think it's Mayweather's fault that he fought
the Russian?
Yeah, the Russian dude, and he was doing well early, and then late in the middle of the fight, the other guy started pulling ahead, or not pulling ahead, but he started pushing onward and getting stronger. So again, that guy is very skilled. He's a southpaw too, and Tank Davis is a southpaw as well. He's very strong, so it would have to be an issue of whether he can match the Russian skills or actually surpass them. And I don't, Tank Davis is a good fighter, man, because he's explosive. He does have power. He knows what he's doing in there a little bit when it comes to boxing skills. But I just don't know how skilled he is. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Also, and it's also a smart move because say it's for a regular belt, right? And assuming
yeah. So Kelmer, if you're listening, man, just come back. Yeah, and people who are listening here, just if you're having trouble with the stream, just there we go again. I think it's going down. Hold on, give me Aku, give me 2 seconds here. I'll be right back, right, man?
For sure. It's the Ryan Garcia cartel.
That's what I'm thinking, man.
Low-key the leader of that?
Hold on. I think we're back. All right. Jeez, Luis, what's going on, man? Everything was going good this last couple of weeks with the internet connection. Then I fixed it, and all of a sudden, wham! Back at it again. Oh, well, what are you going to do? I blame the Ryan Garcia cartel. All right, so Aku, you tell me, man, what's on your mind?
No, I was asking, aren't you Ryan Garcia cartel?
Sorry, you cut off. What about the Ryan Garcia cartel?
I said, aren't you low-key the leader of the Ryan Garcia cartel?
Well, first of all, if I'm the leader of something, I'm not going to be low-key about it. I'm going to put it out there because I got an inferiority complex and I want everybody to know I'm the boss. But no, with the Ryan Garcia, man, I mean...
Dude, why do you hate Ryan Garcia? Like, why do you hate the kid?
I don't hate the kid. Hate is a very strong word. There's a lot of people in boxing...
Why do you
Well, as I said before, man, he's cringe in his approach, the fake tough guy act, the fake acting. He's playing up to the homosexual audience, very transparent about that. The fact that he got one good win, and he's jawing about it as if he beat Muhammad Ali. He's talking about wanting to fight Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Tank Davis. And then whoops, he goes to fight Javier Fortuna, and he doesn't even fight Javier Fortuna on top of it, which wasn't a bad fight, by the way. Then he says, "Oh, I got mental issues," and he disappears. And he turns up in the hotel room with a voluptuous woman. So again, he's pulled out of fights before. The zone doesn't even trust him anymore. So I got. That's why I dislike the guy. Out of all these lightweights, and they've been doing a lot of jawing, he's the one I dislike the most.
Oh wow, I love all four of them. I think they're all pretty cool for boxing.
Hold on a second before
my
we continue.
Favorite. You want to know who my favorite is?
Oh boy, please get rid of the Kevin. Before you go, can you please get rid of the noise in the background? There's a lot of like you're watching Jerry Springer or something. I don't know what's going on.
I'm watching Billy Contorto. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You know, it's funny, guys. People are ready just to forget about.
Well, he I think the Ryan cartel got to him, man. Another one taken down. All right, so you were saying, Aku, I don't know what happened to me. So you were saying that you actually like the lightweights. Why do you like them?
Yeah, they trash talk. They bring trash talk in, and I think boxing needs that. And they got the views. We talk about them on the show. I mean, they're interesting, and they draw attention to the sport. I think that's always good.
So even if it's bad attention, you think it's good for the sport?
I'm back.
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
Some of it's bad. I'm talking about personality-wise. I think they're interesting.
But okay, see, I asked you.
If Teofimo don't want to give him the rematch, well, he earns it after this win against the Japanese fella.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Lomachenko right now. We're talking about the four. Oh, hold on a second. People are saying the stream is down. I think we're back up. Okay, you guys, Aku and Kevin from Chicago, you guys take it from here. I'll be right back. Right, give me 2 minutes. I think we're on the air, but I mean, it's just I gotta check what the hell's going on here.
We're talking about the four queens. They don't want to talk about the king, though. That's Lomachenko. He's the king.
He got beat already. All right.
They robbed him of a decision.
I wouldn't say rob it.
He's one of them warrior dudes. It's just hard to put away.
Yeah, dude. If the odds are good, I'm gonna put my money on that. On the upset versus Lomachenko. I mean,
easy money for Chenko.
All right. Yeah, I gotta check the odds on that. When is that possible to be?
I'm not sure. I think it just got announced.
Yeah, but BJ was talking about how he hates these sports.
It's old. It's getting old. That's why Jake Paul is the biggest star in boxing right now, because they don't fight each other.
Oh wait a minute. He's the biggest. I mean, he's the biggest star in boxing. He's a star that's boxing right now, but he's not a boxer. You know what I mean? I don't think it's fair to call him the biggest star in boxing right now.
1.5 mil.
Is that even true, by the way?
Askren.
Is that true, or is that like a fake number that they threw out there?
Probably a little bit in the middle. And true.
I don't know. That was a huge event, and the way it trended, the way people were talking about it. You look at the YouTube numbers on ESPN; it was huge. You could determine how big it was based on that. You look at Twitter; it was all over the place. It seemed like a big time event.
I don't know if he's the king of boxing, but the UFC last night. Last Saturday, Jake Paul had the announcer had Daniel Cormier commentator.
Cool. You're breaking up, man.
In and out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
You're breaking up. Jump in and jump back out. Jump back out and jump back in, man.
Yep, I saw that too. Daniel Cormier got in his face. He got all butthurt too. They're all feeding into his hand. Daniel Cormier. He was saying, "Oh, he's beneath me. He's beneath me." I couldn't take that fight, but then he wants to go get in his face. I hate Daniel Cormier. You piece of.
Why are these guys? It's interesting though, because here's one thing. I don't hate the whole Jake Paul thing and the whole Triller thing. I got past that after Mayweather McGregor, because when that fight happened or was going to be announced, there was still that hope that Mayweather would return to fight somebody credible, right? Because that was only 2 years after his last fight against Berto. But then now I started realizing, okay, he's never coming back to fight somebody credible. He just wants exhibition. So that's fine with me. And it's the same thing with this Jake Paul and all these fellas. Okay, is it a good look? Is it a bad look? I don't know. But it's just, they're doing it for the money. And it's separate from the rest of world-class boxing. So I don't get angry about it. But when you have people in the boxing establishment, plus Dana White from the UFC, shitting on these fights, that means when they're pissing both sides off, this Jake Paul fella. And the whole Triller and exhibition fight. So it seems to me they're doing something right, or perhaps something incredibly wrong. Kevin, what do you think?
Yeah, we were talking about it. The reason we brought up Jake Paul is because none of these other boxers in the lightweight division and so forth are fighting each other. So that's why I feel like someone like Jake Paul can make such a big name and make these big fights, because they're just not big marquee fights happening right now in boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. That's supposed to be a big fight. That ain't a big fight. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. It's not like Billy Joe Saunders some big star. He's just the boxing world knows who he is, but other than that, nobody knows who he is. It feels like Tyson Fury versus Joshua. That's the only fight that's transcendent. That actually transcends boxing. It touches in the cultural aspect. Other than that, there's really no other fights like that.
But Kevin, you're not even that big a boxing fan, are you? You're more of an MMA guy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not a hardcore, but I pay attention.
You mean to boxing, or you mean to MMA?
I watch majority of the fights. It's just. I don't watch every single fight on undercards and this and that, but if there's like Friday night fights on the Zone and things like that, I'll watch them.
Right. So you're okay with the whole exhibition fights, which is that's okay. Like I said, they keep it separate from world class boxing. I don't really got a problem with that. In regards to the four queens, though, do you have a problem with the way they're acting? Do you like what's going on with the lightweight division, or you tell me?
Yeah, they're not paying their dues. They got to fight each other. I feel like Lopez shouldn't even have got that fight versus Lomachenko. He kind of skipped the line. He went right into the fight with someone like Lomachenko is proven against world class competition, and nobody else is. Okay, they're not proving themselves. They're not earning their keep in that regard. That's what I don't have a problem. That's what I have a problem with.
Right. To be fair, was that?
I was asking him, how about when he fought Loma? Did he earn his keep?
Yeah, Kevin, didn't he beat the guy? So whether he skipped or not is a bit of a moot point, isn't it? Moot point, isn't it, Kevin?
No, because anybody can be beat on any given night. It's just about getting the opportunity. That's half the battle. Getting the opportunity is half the battle.
Well, I tell you what, man, that's one point of view. But the thing is with these lightweights is they're not fighting each other right now. Now, again, there's 2 points of views, right? When all of these guys started announcing their fights, people were saying, oh, they're shit fights. Kombucha's a shit fight. Fortuna's a shit fight. And I started thinking, wait a minute. Let's give them the rest of the year to see what happens. Because as boxing fans, we tend to jump the gun way too much. One guy has a bad performance or 2 bad performances in a row. Oh, he's done. He's finished. He should retire. You know what I mean? One guy takes a less than stellar fight. All of a sudden, he's a bum. He's ducking. It seems like people love to talk about the ducking aspect. Oh, this guy be ducking. That guy be ducking. I'm thinking, why don't you just let them fight and eventually they'll fight each other? Is that, am I out of line saying
Spot
that?
on.
Yeah.
You're on to something, BDA.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know if I'm onto something, but I do think we should keep a certain amount of pressure on fighters for them to fight each other. Because again, that's the other point, right? When a fighter quits or when a fighter performs in a matter that's less than reputable, and people go, "Well, you're not the one jumping in there. You're not getting in the ring." Yeah, but we're paying for it. We're not millionaires. I don't think. I don't know about you guys. We're forking over money for the Zone, ESPN Plus, Showtime, whatever other channels you need to watch the fights. What's that?
I'm not paying for anything. I'm not paying for anything. I'm watching it all, finding streams for this.
Now,
Yeah, but
yeah, go ahead.
BDA, as far as the other side of the coin, the fighter's point of view is it's like the Jake Paul thing. People want him to step up and fight these monsters, but when he's getting paid millions to fight Ben Askren, why would you step in there with some amateur Golden Gloves champion when you could make millions fighting Ben Askren? And I feel like that's the same thing with some of these boxers. These boxers can continue fighting lower level competition, keep getting $100,000 paychecks, big 6-figure, 7-figure paychecks. Instead, you want to risk it, maybe get a bigger paycheck. But if you lose that big fight, your stock can drop big time. So it's a thing. You want to get paid more and risk it. We got to risk it for the biscuit, so on and so forth.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, look, these fighters are risking their health in there. But again, I don't buy this argument from them all the time where, well, I can do whatever I want because I'm the one risking my health. Look, nobody put a gun to your head and told you to get into this sport. It is a form of show business, boxing. You can be the most skilled fighter in the world, but if you're boring or if for some reason you're not capturing the public's imagination, it ain't going to work out for you financially. You'll get well compensated, but you won't be the megastar that you want to be. And that's just one of the things that these guys need to get into their heads. So when they look at a guy like Jake Paul and go, well, why is he making so much money? He's a 1 in a million case of a guy who happens to be a celebrity, who also happens to be big or athletic, and who can box a little bit, and he's making money off of it.
And they market themselves really good. Like, what's nuts is that these guys, Logan and Jake Paul, I feel like they just like became the biggest stars in boxing. Like Logan's about to fight Floyd, probably the biggest fight of the year. And Jake fucking took over UFC when they had one of their best UFC cards, like of all time. Jake was like the main star of it, and he wasn't even fighting. And now they're all trying to fight Jake, the MMA fighters. Like within a year, like it seems like this just all started like a year ago, and now like they're the biggest guys in both sports. Isn't that kind of nuts?
It is. It's insane. I never would have like. I remember when I was reading a Ring magazine article in 2006. That was when Max Boxing had a pay-per-view card online, and it was Kermit Cintron versus I forget who the guy was, and they took care of all the bandwidth and the cameras and the whole shebang. They took care of it, and it was quite interesting because it was the first time anybody had done that. Now, fast forward 15 years later. Applications are the ones that are being touted as the future of boxing and of sports. Movies even. I mean, just take a look at Netflix. I didn't watch the Oscars last week, but apparently Netflix is well entrenched now in producing their own movies, and they're their own studio. So these applications are really, and so now to see a guy, first of all, a guy that. Why is he famous, by the way? Was he the Paul brothers? Were they video game guys, or what were they doing on YouTube that garnered them so much attention?
Vine guys, Vine videos.
They were vloggers. They vlogged.
Damn, and they got famous just doing that.
Yeah, being like kind of like assholes. Like YouTube
you want to know what separates them? Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They are anomalies. They're anomalies, but before they had celebrity boxing back in the day. You remember that they used to do celebrity boxing, but everybody
Mm-hmm.
knew it was a joke. It was they weren't going to take it serious, just go in there and mess around. But when it comes to this, they're bringing the celebrity style, but they're taking it serious too. So it brings a competition. Like people love Americans. They love competition. They love seeing people compete, see who's number one, this and that. But they also love the celebrity status. They love the star power. So it brings
Your show
those two
now. Press
components.
1
Mm-hmm.
Since it appears you're calling
Sorry
back
about
into
that.
a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
You totally interrupted my point that I was
I'm
bringing.
sorry
That was
about that. I'm sorry
explaining
about that.
society.
Yeah, now we'll never get to hear it because I'm moving on from that. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, I just bring in it's combining two facets of society: the competitiveness and the celebrity. And you combine those two, you get someone like Jake Paul. Because say what you want, they do take it seriously. He is taking it seriously, and you ask
Mm-hmm.
anybody who knows halfway about this shit, they'll say he's taking it seriously. So that's why people are tuning in, because he knows he's serious about it, and they know it's a celebrity gimmick. So it's a funny combination of like seriousness and gimmick. You know what I mean?
So, with that being said, do you think there's something that boxers could learn from when it comes to this? Or is that something that the Four Queens are trying to incorporate into their work?
Yeah, they are. It's proven because they don't have the resumes yet. They're one of the biggest stars in boxing. They're like top 10 biggest stars in boxing, and we all until this year, like they haven't fought nobody. So it's proven that the way they promote themselves works, like the online social media, celebrity cross. It's proven it works because their resume don't back up their popularity.
All right. Now, with that being said, I'm curious here because I got you two fellas here. Usually, you don't call in. We're relatively unknown to each other. So, let me start with Aku. Aku, what type of fighters do you like? Like, who are you? Not necessarily favorite fighters in terms of style, but like that you sort of relate with, or you go, oh, his character sort of jibes with mine.
I like all of them, all the boxers. I'm a fan of all of them, from Wilder to Adif. I like I root for them because they do badass shit in there. Like I can't forget the badass shit that even if they had one moment, that's just legendary to me.
So you were able to fully separate the boxing from the character.
No, like some of the styles, like I won't watch. Like some like there's some dumb matches where you know it's gonna be a 12-round fight, and even though I'm like Benavidez, I'm a huge fan of Benavidez. I didn't watch the fight. I wasn't interesting.
Well, yeah, okay, but what I'm trying to get to is when it comes to rooting for somebody, because it's very rare to root for somebody just because they're good. I mean, the guy, if he can be as good as he is, but if he's an asshole outside the ring, would you really root for the guy just because he's good?
Yeah, I just want to see the best win. Like I'm rooting for all these fighters.
But that's yeah.
Let me strange on YouTube. You gotta hate. You gotta hate on one. You gotta hate this time. If you hate someone on this, if you like this one, you gotta hate this one. I'm probably like in the minority.
Like well, let me get down to the. I'm interested in what you gotta say. So let me ask you this. So if a guy, no matter what he does outside the ring, as long as he's good inside the ring, you will root for him.
Nah, that's not true.
Okay. So there are
Wilder's excuses. Like Wilder's excuses were lame as hell. But I mean, I still kind of like him.
Well, I mean, prior to the excuses, when he said he wanted to kill people and he said he wanted to get pregnant, and him and his team went over to Brazil's wife, or to Brazil in front of his wife and created a whole ruckus, like that didn't bother you?
Yeah, it did. But like not enough to like, I can't stand this, is outrageous. Make a big deal about it. These boxers are kind of nuts. Like you get to be a little nuts to like get in the ring. The only boxer I don't support and I don't like, I'm not a fan of, is that dude, that Argentinian that's supposedly like a child molester.
Oh, Baldomir.
Yeah. Other than that, like Amir Khan, like Amir Khan gets a lot of hate, but you guys are gonna forget the Marcus Magana fight. Like, you can't forget that.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so you're pretty forgiving when it comes to these boxers. You're willing to overlook a lot of things as long as they fight. That's the most important thing for you.
Yeah. And
All right.
the personality too. Like I like that trash talking WWE shit kind of.
So you like trash talking. You have a pretty low bar when it comes to some of the outside the ring antics. Like you won't fold them for some of the. Well, I mean, I'm not low, but you know what I mean, right? Like you don't care if they get into scuffles and say they want to kill people. As long as they fight, that's what you're watching the sport for. Is what you're saying.
They're characters, bro, and like they're kind of nuts. Like I don't go to my moral compass doesn't like revolve. I know what I'm watching.
All right,
Watching
Kevin.
These guys.
All right, well said, Kevin. How about yourself? Do you agree with Aku? Like, what's your outlook on fighters? Do you root for them, no matter what their character? Do you have certain standards? Like, what's your outlook on this?
I like having someone to root for when it comes into boxing. I do. When I tune in and I'm invested, I like having someone to root for. That's really what it comes down to. Otherwise, I'm really not that interested. I mean, there's a lot of great fighters, but I'm not going to tune in every time just because there's a good fight on or good fighters. Unless it's like a big cultural event where there's some cultural implications, where people are going to talk about it, there's a lot of bragging rights involved. I'll tune into that. When it's someone I can root for, I like to see him win, I'll tune in. That's really what I like to see. I mean, I don't care when it comes to, oh, this guy said something, he crossed the line, this and that. I don't buy into that. They're going in to take each other's brain cells. They're going in there to kill each other. So people like to get on their high horse and say, oh, don't support this guy. He said something like this. Nah, I don't buy that.
Yeah. I was going to say, what wasn't a Pac-Man and like Tyson Fury? They said like anti-Semitic. I'm not anti-Semitic. Anti-homo.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Didn't they say some things? And like, I mean, people like if they just put up a big fight, we'll watch. Like it doesn't. People forget that shit.
Well, I think it's because most people agree with the homophobic and anti-Semitic things they said. I think that's why
yes,
nobody cared. I think that's why nobody cared. Right? No, but hey, hold on. Keep those thoughts in mind because we got a phone call here. Let's see if they're working. The phone lines. 972. You're on the air. 972. What's on your mind? 972. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Yes, 972. You're on the air.
You got. Hey, what's going on, fellas?
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. Now, am I mistaken, or is the lightweight division the topic of today's conversation?
It is indeed, yes.
Okay, now, some might disagree with me, but in the case of Ryan Garcia, I don't have very much sympathy for the guy, just because how many false statements that we've had to deal with coming from this guy as far as, I'm going to fight Tank Davis. I'm going to knock him out in 2 rounds. I want Manny Pacquiao. That didn't go through. And then now, he had a tough fight in Javier Fortuna, who in my opinion is a much more powerful puncher than Luke Campbell. And I think Garcia knows that as well. And I don't know, man. If he has something really going on mentally, of course, like, we want anybody to get right mentally. But personally, I don't think he wanted to fight Fortuna, man, and I don't cut him much sympathy in that regard. What's your take on that?
I tell you what, man, I think from a stylistic standpoint, I think he could have actually dropped and stopped Fortuna. Fortuna keeps that chin up in the air. He's not a pressure fighter. More than likely, he would have gone. Fortuna would have fought from the outside. But by the way, what the fuck is it? Yeah, I think he would have fought it from the outside. If Garcia would have made Fortuna come to him, I think he would have been able to catch him coming in with that chin up in the air. But yeah, I think for whatever reason, the guy, I don't. There's something fishy about this whole my mental health. The fact, like you said, he's done this before. He's asked for money up front, and that if the fight doesn't happen, he gets paid either way. It just seems like there's some con going on here. He smells like a con artist, and I don't have too much sympathy for him right now. I'm on the fence about. I'm looking at it. I'm being very suspicious about his actions, and whether he was scared of Fortuna or not, I don't know. Maybe it was a money issue. This guy, again, he became famous before ever achieving anything in boxing by virtue of his social media status. So he's a guy that, if he wins in boxing or not, I don't think he really cares that much right now with all the money he's made. What do you fellas think? Yeah.
Maybe the pressure's
I
getting
agree.
to him.
Now, 2 quick points on that. In your opinion, is Fortuna a bigger puncher than Campbell?
Maybe by a little bit.
And also, it's hard to feel bad for the guy, man. When he says he wants to fight Tank, won't fight Tank. He was actually Haney's mandatory. Didn't want to fulfill his title shot, which is unheard of in itself. A lot of people dream of being in that position. And then, after the Pacquiao, and then now, man, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. As far as 135 goes, he's probably bottom of the totem pole now.
Yeah, that's true, man. Kevin, you were going to say something?
I said maybe Ryan Garcia, the pressure's getting to him. He's got this. He just came off a big win, and he knows it's step up in competition time. Yeah, Luke Campbell, that was a nice win over a fading vet, but now it's where the big dogs happen. You're ready to take that next step, and maybe the pressure's getting to him. Maybe he's choking up a little bit.
Maybe, man. Listen, 972. We're gonna move on. Thank you for your call, because there's a lot of background noise coming from your end. But thank you for your call. We'll catch you in the next one. All right, man. Take it easy.
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah, no problem, bro. My bad. I'm in the car, man. But before I go, big fan of the show, man. This is actually Texas Bulldog Boxing calling in, man. I contribute every now and then.
No.
I enjoy the show, and I appreciate what you guys do, man. You guys have a good one, man, and I'm gonna tune back in.
All right, Texas. Thank you for calling in, man. Take it easy. Yeah, I mean, look, listen, that's the thing about Ryan Garcia. It just seems very suspect, man, everything he's doing, what he's been on in the past. And that's the other thing. When this is all based on the fact that he beat Luke Campbell. And okay, he was the first to stop him, but he also got dropped. And dropped badly. It wasn't a flash knockdown. He had to come from behind to pull off that win. He was on his knees crying as if he just won the undisputed championship of the world and he became pound for pound number one. I don't know if his heart's there. Like Kevin said, it's just maybe there's something fishy going on with the guy. Maybe when he says I got mental issues, social anxiety, depression, maybe it's just inferiority complex. Maybe he's just insecure.
Yeah,
maybe his hog isn't large enough.
I don't think so, because he got back. Like you said, he got hurt and he got back up, and he didn't just like try to, when some boxers get back up and they're like hurt, they just start boxing and like just start backpedaling. He went forward and hurt him in the next round, and he got the KO. So I don't think that he doesn't want it. If he didn't want it, he would have backpedaled and say, "Oh shit, I just got dropped." He actually went forward and knocked the dude out.
Yeah, but you got to remember, there's two people there's two types. People changed their character more or less in different situations. So you can be in a fight, and once you're in the fight, you tune everything out, and you're in the moment, and you got no choice. You go for it. But it's actually before the fight. That's when the demons come out, and the insecurities and the doubts, and some people get overcome by that, and they say, "Well, I hurt my hand. I think we're gonna have to postpone the fight," or my ankle hurts," or whatever it is. And I think it's the same thing with Ryan Garcia. I think before the actual fight, he's incredibly nervous, like most fighters, incredibly nervous, blah, blah, blah. But then once he's in the ring, he's got no choice, and he shows that character that we want to see, that edge. But right now, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the money, I don't know if it is indeed the mental issues, whatever. But
I'll tell you this, like if you're right on that, dude, he's gonna get so much hate from everybody, like from the fans, the media. If you're right that it is, because you're right, there are some points that you could be right. Like there's some things about the money, and maybe this is a negotiating tactic. Like he wasn't happy with the deal that he's gonna fight for Fortuna, and maybe this is a way, like he's trying to show up the zone, like yo, you gotta pay me more, like, or I got like mental problems. Like if it's fake, like dude, it's gonna go bad for him, I think.
Oh yeah. If more allegations are proven against him, it's going to be about, because look, he's already done it before, asking for money up front, pulling out of fights, getting into it out. And here's the other thing. Don't you fellas think that him and Canelo are commiserating? Because they got the same trainer, right? They're in the same training camp. They're both with De La Hoya, but De La Hoya ain't there when they're training. Don't you think Canelo's like, hey, man, you don't need this guy?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, the Canelo interview. Dude, that shit was fucking interesting.
What did he say?
You make a good point, BDA, in terms of the con job. Maybe he's trying to con people, trying to worm his way into more money or something. I didn't think about that.
Because again, we got to remember, we're in the age now where all these fighters, they're looking for ways to make money other than boxing. Which is, okay, fine. Yeah, boxing, you got to look for other forms of revenue because boxing is not going to be there forever. These guys have a certain shelf life, and so they got to get in as much money in there as possible. But they're looking at the social media and they're saying, hey, but with Ryan Garcia, he was already making money without boxing, just off the social media. So he's an interesting case. But all these other guys, like for example, Teofimo Lopez, I don't know what made Ryan Garcia famous because he's not even that interesting a character outside the ring. But for some people like him. Teofimo Lopez, though, he hasn't gotten that same outside the ring fame, and I don't think he's ever going to get it. I think if he continues winning, he can improve his, Q rating. But he's never not going to be Ryan Garcia famous, I don't think. I'd be very surprised if he does. So I think the best thing for guys like Lopez is just keep fighting, just keep winning. That's all you can do.
Oh, for sure.
To spend time trying to become... Yeah.
Incredible styles. Like, look at Canelo. Canelo was not... He's not the... He's probably one of my favorite fighters, and he's probably the most boring one of all of them, I think. He doesn't say anything. The only thing that we have of him is, I was born ready. That's about it.
Yeah, his interviews are... Like, that. You mentioned that he did an interview, right? With... what's his name? Graham something.
Yeah, that...
reporting.
Can we admit that this Canelo is better, like more like interesting, it's a better Canelo than the previous one, the serious one?
Well, what do you mean? You mean he's more interesting outside the ring, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like this Canelo speaking English is like far more interesting than the serious, I just come here to box, I want to talk about the next opponent, kind of.
I didn't see the interview. What did he say exactly? What insights did he give?
He said that now he knows why all the fights, when Richard Schaefer left, he knows why all the boxers left with Richard Schaefer, and he was the only one that stayed with Canelo. I mean, with Oscar. He said, now I know why they all left.
That's interesting. It makes you wonder what would have happened had Canelo left. Would he have become as big a star as he is now, or?
They disrespected Golden Boy.
Well, listen, the Golden Boy disrespects himself every time he opens his mouth and forgets that he's not supposed to drink. I mean, that's on him. But if Canelo would have gone over with Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer, I'm pretty sure he would have gotten, because again, there's certain fighters over the PBC that get to fight 2 times a year. There's other guys out there that they get a fight just to get one fight. I mean, look at that tomorrow. It's a pay-per-view fight between Arriola and Ruiz, and they're finally trying to take advantage of that undercard to put in as many fights as possible because they got a whole bunch of fighters that haven't been fighting. So with Canelo, I'm pretty sure he would have gotten some fights, but would the Golovkin fight have happened if he had gone over to the... I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting outlook there for that one for sure. We'll never know.
You would have fought their 154 guys. The Charlos, probably. J-Rock.
Yeah, but then see, if that would have happened, then people would have shit on him for not fighting Golovkin.
Did Golovkin sign again before the Canelo fight, or to HBO, or was that before?
That's a good question. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. But listen, going back to the Ryan Garcia, what were we talking about before that? Yeah, Ryan Garcia. Canelo. Actually, yeah, Canelo. The interview. I did read one thing though. Now that you mention it, I think it might have been from that interview there, where Canelo said, "All right, please mute your mics, man. If you're gonna be not talking, because I hear a lot of background noise there." Canelo said, and this is from, I think it's from the interview that we that we saw there. He says Golovkin is the only person that he's had animosity towards in the past years. He says it was one of the few people that I wanted to cut their head off, whose head I wanted to cut off. Which, listen, I'm from Mexico, and I think most of you guys, even if you're not from Mexico, you know the head chopping heads off over there in Mexico. It's kind of like a big thing. It's like hitting the piñata. People just go, "Hey, we need a decapitation here today." So for him to say that, it's a little creepy, man. A little creepy.
He knew he lost to him twice. That's why. He's pissed. He beat him. He got 2 gift decisions against the Triple G, the gangster.
All right. Listen, before we continue on to that, let's go to a phone call here real quick. See who's out there in the ether. 978, you're on the air. 978, what's on your mind?
Contorto.
Hey man, what's up? It's Mathematic again. I just find it really interesting that you guys were talking about if Canelo would have left Golden Boy. I don't think he would have been as big of a star. Just because, like, I feel like the PBC, they're not really good at creating stars. So, like, when Canelo was coming up, like, he had to, the whole hype was about him fighting Triple G. And I feel like that fight would have happened a lot sooner, you know? So.
Yeah, you're right, man. If he dropped out. All right, 978. If he had some more points to make, call back, man. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think he would have been as big a star, or maybe he would have been a big star, but there would have been some complications there. Because again, with Errol Spence, he should be a bigger star than what he is now. Same thing with what's his name? Wilder. He should have been. Look, I don't like the guy because of the comments he's made and all that, but he should have been a bigger star, man. Young heavyweight, undefeated at the time, knocking people out with one shot. What was going on that most people didn't know about him?
I think it depends on the opponent. This was 2014, so like you got to see what. I don't think he would have got a Cotto fight because Cotto was HBO. So and Triple G, I forgot what his contract situation was, but maybe Triple G goes earlier to what Showtime. Who knows?
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see, man. It would have been interesting to see. But look, hindsight is 2020. Canelo decided to stick with De La Hoya, made a lot of money, became the biggest star in boxing. So, you know, if he wants to complain, he can complain. But it's a hypothetical, this one. By the way, shout out to Texas Bulldog for his contribution. He says, "Much love, fellas. My bad for cutting off Kev, 100%." Well, no problem, Texas Bulldog. And shout out to you for your contribution. Listen. In regards to the, because again, we're talking about this new school of boxing, the Four Queens, a lot of jawing being done on social media. I guess we have to admit that this is now something that's going to continue to happen in boxing. As fighters, as the younger fighters continue to enter the pro ranks, we're going to be seeing more and more talking on social media. I'll tell you one thing. I think I already told the story on the air once, but there were 2 guys over at my regional in my district, they're amateurs fighting. Again, it's an amateur fight. It wasn't even a high-level amateur fight. It wasn't for a championship, a local championship. It wasn't for the national, nothing like that. It was just 2 amateurs fighting. They'd already fought once, I believe, and they started fighting each other on Facebook. And they say, "Oh, let's do a rematch." Okay, so they arrange a rematch, and they bring their whole posse to the fight. So they all got friends and all that. And it was one of the dirtiest fights I've ever seen. Low blows. There's a point where one guy drops to his knees and the other guy hits him with his crotch. It's the first time I've ever seen a crotch punch in boxing. And then there was almost a riot after the fight. So when I saw that, I was shaking my head and I said, "Look, it's ridiculous. These guys are getting into it on the internet. It's not even a championship. It's an amateur fight." But I have to admit, part of me was highly entertained by the whole ruckus.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
I'm gonna look for that right now on YouTube. Like, dude, you just explained or talked about that. I want to watch that shit.
It's like that song, BDA. If you hoes want to go there, we can get gangsta. We can get gangsta. No, look at the URL. StreamYard.com/what? What'd that say?
Oh, come on. How the fuck did you notice that, man?
I got a sixth sense when it comes to the tribe.
You're insane. And first of all, you're always talking about how the decline of America, blah blah blah, and yet you're a rap guy. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I'm not. I used to be, but the song just came to my head when you said ruckus.
No, but seriously, look, I like the drama as much as the next guy. So that's why I've toned down the last 5 years. I've toned down my whole indignant and this is bad for boxing type spiel. Because again, like Aku was saying, you do need a couple of we've always had crazy characters in boxing. Mayorga, Prince Nassim Hamed, Camacho. As long as they don't cross the line and start, talking about disgusting stuff, or like I'm waiting for the day when one of these guys comes out and he goes, I'm dating a 14-year-old girl. What the fuck you gonna do about it? That's really gonna draw the line between the people how far are people willing to support a fight? Kevin, please mute your mic, man. What are you doing? You're sniffing coke there in the background while I'm talking, man. There we go. That's gonna draw the line. Until that happens, I guess it remains to be seen. But by the way, Kevin just unmuted himself. Kevin, are you gonna? Oh no, he didn't. All right. But yeah, man,
that's not me. That's Billy. What do you hear? Background noises? What do you think? Someone's gonna cross the line? It's gonna create a What do you mean? You think it's gonna cause havoc when someone says something too far? I don't think so.
They don't pay attention enough to this sport. Like this sport, we can say anything in boxing, and like they get away with it. Like Tank Davis, when he beat his girlfriend in the elevator, not the whatever that was, or Shakur Stevenson jumping that one dude in the parking lot garage. They don't pay attention. They know boxing. We got psychos over here, and they don't really. They're not going to counsel us, basically.
Well, I don't know. I think they might. I think the networks might cancel them. The promoters that might drop them, because you saw with that Devin Haney situation, people were saying, "Oh, maybe Bob should drop him and this and that," and he had to come out and apologize. So I think the fighters do have to watch what they say. They can't just be crazy and say what they want just to get a reaction, because it might bite them in the behind.
In the behind. Well, look at the Pacquiao situation. We mentioned that before. He said he's a deeply religious person. And he said, I think in so many words, that homosexuals are going to hell, right? People didn't like that, even though he tried to spin it in a way that, well, look, I love everybody, but all I'm saying is I hope that gay people turn their ways and they don't end up burning in hell. Jimmy Kimmel dropped him. I think Nike dropped him, or he lost a bunch of endorsements. But he didn't go through the whole rigmarole of cancel culture, cancel him, don't let him fight, blah, blah, blah. Because that was a few years before we hit the peak of cancel culture. But still, he ended up paying for it. But whether he paid enough or not... What?
He did, but like he still sold a lot of pay-per-views, and he still a star on ESPN. Yeah,
well, like Lion Bar in the chat says Pac-Man didn't lie. Well, is that the thing we're going for here? Do we, if somebody expresses their opinion, is it bad, or do we hate it more when a person lies? Like, for example, if Ryan Garcia, if it turns out that he's lying and he doesn't have any social anxiety issues and he dropped out of the fight just because he didn't feel like fighting, that's going to be worse, right? Because he lied about it, tried to con the public.
Well, of course.
Yeah, that's the thing that people can't handle. I can't handle it. If you want to say something stupid, whatever, okay, hey, we all have a right to say whatever we want, and we're all going to say something stupid every once in a while. But to try to con the people, ooh, no, sorry, Bob, that's where people draw the line. And it brings us back to the UFC, because one of their big stars is John Jones. Although he hasn't fought in a while. He's being caught using PEDs, cocaine. He's running into pregnant women and then leaving the scene. And yet Dana White wants to keep squeezing him into the UFC because, he's one of the biggest stars. And I suppose it's a little bit of the same thing in boxing is, look, they make too much money, especially in places like Vegas and all that, involving the gambling and other outside the ring stuff. Maybe it's true. Maybe these superstars make way too much money for them to be canceled. Unlike celebrities, because, celebrities are replaceable for the most part. If Brad Pitt disappears, all right, there's 15, 20 other guys waiting to take his spot. In boxing...
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that these guys, Manny Pacquiao, he's an anomaly. He could say these things, and they're going to be lining up to do business with him because if they don't do business, somebody else will do business with him because they know he can sell pay-per-views. And some of these other guys on the lower totem pole, they can't get away with that. They'll be dropped. They got no problem getting rid of them. But when he gets to upper echelon, those guys are irreplaceable.
Do that.
What was that?
He said facts.
Oh, facts. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's the same thing with what's his name, Floyd Mayweather. He comes back. He can, if he would have come back in 2017 against a credible opponent, it would have been, one of the biggest news in boxing. He's coming back. Even now, he could still come back against somebody credible, and people would go, "Whoa, he could probably pull it off." You never know. There would be that mystique of, "Whoa, can he actually, after 5 years at the ring or whatever amount it might have been, can he actually pull it off?" So yeah, boxing stars are more rare to replace. Although I will say, you cannot take your chances too much because take a look at a guy like Andre Ward or Mikey Garcia. When they got into it with their promoters and they were sidelined for about 2 years, other people came out of the woodwork and started taking their shine away. It's harder with megastars, but that's the thing about boxing is and combat sports as a whole. You never know. 2006, for example, that was when Joe Rogan went at it with Lou DiBella. I think it was 2006, 2007. I forget which year exactly. And he was saying boxing is dead. De La Hoya is going to retire. Mayweather's retired. After that, who do you get? Well, after that, not that long after, Pacquiao came out. When he started fighting at welterweight and became a mainstream star. Canelo, AJ. So there's always somebody coming. And it's the same thing with the UFC. Right now, they don't have the super big... Well, who's the biggest star in in UFC right now? Who are the big names?
Conor.
Okay, Conor, who just... Yeah.
Conor McCracker.
Khabib. Yeah, well, how big is...
Khabib retired. I'd say Israel Adesanya, he's up there. Dustin Poirier, he got the big rub from Conor. He's up there. The heavyweight champ just won. He's gonna be a big.
Francis Ngannou.
Usman, that was a big win. He may get the rub.
Now
that's about it.
Do those guys make for exciting? Because Ngannou seems to me. Usman seems to me like the type of guy you don't really want to have as a superstar in MMA. Because for the most part, he'll take guys down, right? And like Khabib, it just takes him down. What?
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. These last 2 fights, he's been knocking him out.
Yeah, who did he knock out before Masvidal? Was it that Brazilian dude?
Jorge Masvidal. No,
Gilberto Burns. Yep. He's coming off 2 back-to-back knockout wins, so he's proven those are 2 big wins, especially against Masvidal, a fan favorite. So I'm thinking that's why I said maybe he'd get the rub and push him into elevated status, elevated stardom. I don't think he's he's not a big-time star now, but he's on the right track. He's doing good.
Did you just say elevator status?
Elevated status.
Okay. I thought elevator status. What the fuck is that? You've been hanging around with Recognize too much, man. Real quick, let's go to a phone call here. Don't forget, phone lines are open. StreamYard link in the description. You want to jump in. 503, you're on the air. 503, what's on your mind?
Billy.
Hey, yo, what up? Hey, yo, listening to the show, you guys were talking about Ryan Garcia for a moment. Can I say, I wanted to say that I think Ryan Garcia is a little pussy. I just want to say it because I'm Mexican and the bloodline is so rich and you know the real shit, man. If you're Mexican, you want to fight, you want to bring it. You got 2 real Mexicans fighting this weekend. You got more Mexicans this weekend, last weekend, and then this next fucking weekend. So, I don't want to hear this pussy ass shit, man. And I just believe that Ryan Garcia shouldn't be bringing this fucking wanting, a quiet space. Oh, my fucking feelings are hurt. This guy's like a young 23-year-old. This guy should be pulling fucking threesomes every night. Like, what the fuck is he got to be fucking crying about and shit, man? I don't want to hear that pussy ass shit, man. And you know what I mean, man? Fuck that shit, man. This is boxing, man. This is puro huevos. Aquí es la sangre que es puro guerrero mexicano. Y aquí este güey no es verdad mexicano. Pero eso es todo lo que quiero decir.
Muy bueno.
Aquí tenemos este fin de semana tenemos Ruiz, Ariola compra pagar de arder. Disfrutimos unas peleas. Viva México.
Hey, but wait, stay on the line, because I'm trying to get Ice to locate you while we talk to you. But I also want to know.
Muy bueno, señorito. Muy bueno, señorito.
In regard 503. In regards to the Ryan Garcia fight, it's true. Look, there's two ways to look at it, right? If somebody's depressed, they say that the worst thing to tell them sometimes is, why are you depressed? You get the whole world at your feet, because then that's only going to make them more depressed. But with Ryan Garcia, I don't really buy it that he's depressed. Okay, anxiety, that's fine, because, he's got a lot of pressure. But depression, I don't. And then he's out there with a girl instead of fighting. So essentially he's saying he's so distraught that he had to cancel the fight that was going to take place in months. But he's not distraught enough to go out in vacation and bang a woman. Isn't there a disconnect with that 503?
A disconnect. I mean, shit. I mean, like you're saying, he's got the whole fucking, world at his feet. I don't know. I've never been in that position. But I mean, I don't want to hear it, you know what I mean? I mean, Fortuna deserved a shot. You know what I mean? He's more Mexicano than this fool, man. I don't know what to say. I mean, he did prove it with Campbell. Can't hate on that. But, you know what I mean? It's about showing balls, man. This is you know what I mean? This new era. Like, you're calling them the queens, man. You're the 4 queens. There's a reason you're calling them that, dude. You know what I mean? I 100% agree with you. Devin Haney fighting well. Linares, fucking... Dude, I wish Linares all the best of luck to knock this guy out. That's what I really want. Teofimo trying to get his money. Who else? Davis moving up, man. I mean, shit is, what's going on here, man? That's why you guys are talking about Jake Paul, and then the brothers getting, fucking getting the attention of boxing fans and the boxing media, fucking, boxing media interviewing them and asking them questions. Like, dude, this shit has changed, man, and hey, it's only gonna get worse from here.
That's hopefully
no
not.
True Chicano I know says, dude.
All right, hold on. 503. I hope we're wrong. I hope things end up working out and these guys fight each other. But yeah, man, it's not a good look for the moment, man. I'm a little worried over here. I'm so worried and so anxious that I'm actually gonna go on vacation right now and fuck a bunch of prostitutes. But anyway, 503. Thank you for calling. Catch you on the next one. All right, man. Call back next time. All right, man. Take it easy. That was a good call.
Yeah, I just came from TJ. Speaking of prostitutes.
Oh, really?
I just came from Tijuana, and yesterday I just got back. Fucking Ruiz and versus Ariola is on free TV over there, and Canelo versus Billy is free too. Pretty cool.
Yeah, the Canelo fights for a while, right? I think it's TV Azteca has. I think they have their or Univision, one of those fucking channels. That's pretty cool. What were you doing in TJ, man? Making a deal?
Just eating the food, checking out the tacos.
Did you have to wear a mask over there? Like, how are things over there?
The mask, yeah, you do. You can walk around, like, when you're inside buildings and shit. Where at the strip club, you don't, surprisingly.
Huh, that's interesting, yeah. I mean, it's pretty
tell
hard.
me if I got the accent down. Tijuana. Tijuana. Is how they say it?
You gotta go with the DJ. You gotta Tijuana.
Tijuana.
Kevin, how drunk are you right now, man?
Fortuna. He ain't no West Coast gangster like Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's a West Coast gangster.
Hey, speaking of gangsters, fucking Felix Verdejo. He's being questioned by the police because apparently he was banging a girl, and the last thing people remember of her was that she told family members, "Oh, I'm gonna go see Felix because I just got my pregnancy test results," and all of a sudden she's disappeared. So they're asking around, like, hopefully Verdejo didn't hear something he didn't like and ended up whacking her or something. Hopefully that didn't happen. So, but yeah, if he did,
damn,
that's one guy I won't be rooting for in his next fight. Let me tell you.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
He chopped your head off, throw her in the woods.
Well, I don't know about that. It's pretty specific, by the way. I don't know if any of that happened, but I mean, hopefully not, man. So like we were talking about, some of these fighters are a little bit crazy, and you can't really put it past them to commit some sort of these.
His career went off like right after that motorcycle accident. That shit went down fast.
Hey, maybe he can
he got in a fight before that, right? Or he lost the fight.
I think he lost it afterwards. I think, but he wasn't looking too hot after the motorcycle accident. So hey, maybe he can blame it if something happens. He can blame it on the motorcycle accident. Say, look, I got my frontal lobe is damaged. That way, it's inhibiting my ability to make actions or to be inhibited, and therefore I just go off nuts sometimes and I kill people. What's wrong with that? Just give me some medicine, I'll be fine. Let's go to real quick. Let's go to 978 here. We got a phone call. I think it's calling. I think it's 978. You're on the air. 978.
Yo, I'm back. All right, so like the police tried pulling me over, but I fucking outran them, so it's all good.
Turn off.
I'm pretty sure that happened. Well, go ahead, 978.
That's literally what happened. I outran them, man. We're good.
All
right,
right,
man. You. So the Fortuna fight, it's like the biggest hurt. Like I'm hurt right now because I really wanted to see that fight. Fortuna is a wild man from Dominican Republic, and I'm Dominican myself. And like fucking, we had one there. We have like that one nigga that's like pretty good,
Oh,
it's all right. He's pretty good. Oh, I'm sorry. The N word. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, yo, BA, when are we going to DR, man? I got plátanos for you. I got plátanos. I got yuca. We got all the víveres you want. We got guineitos, fritos.
Platanos.
What do you want? You want longaniza?
Well, listen, I know all of us here in the Hispanic or whatever you want to call it community. We always have some form of torta or some form of taco. Like, what do you guys have down there?
Yo, we got a chimi. That's our torta.
Okay.
It's a pork sandwich, fried pork with like lettuce, mayonnaise, ketchup, pickles, everything you want on that shit. Ask the guy, tell him throw everything on there. It's gonna be delicious. When you're drunk, dude, it's the best fucking thing ever.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
I want to ask Kevin from Chicago something. I want to ask Kevin from Chicago one thing.
One thing.
What did he think about one thing? And I'm gone.
That's okay.
What did he think about the Rose Mama Juana fight versus Zhang Weili? And
what I think is the Polish.
Okay, man.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth wins again. That's what I'm talking about. She's Lithuanian. She called out the communists. Did you hear about that? She said she represents communism better dead than red. She said, my people, the Lithuanian people, suffered at the hands of communists. And what happens? She goes out there and head kicks her ass. Knockout. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Go look up that history. It goes back decades, centuries. So shout out to Rose Namajunas. She didn't play, man. She don't play.
Well, there you have it. I mean, that's the fight against global communism continues. Thank you, 978 for your call. And I'm looking it up right now. Yes, indeed, they have the chimichurris. That's what they call them over there, the Dominican sandwiches. I wanted to ask him what that sauce is, because that sauce looks delicious. But yeah, that's the torta they got over there, the chimis.
Mayonnaise and ketchup do not go together. That's a big no.
Isn't that what everybody puts in their fucking burgers or whatever?
That's fact.
I don't know,
like
but mayonnaise.
Sauce, supposedly, but yeah, that's just that.
That don't sound good. That don't look good. Mayonnaise and ketchup. Just go to ketchup and mustard. That's all you need.
That's that orange sauce that everyone puts the fries in.
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, I guess I'll have to try it. I'll have to try to find some. All the restaurants are close over here. Well, except for takeout. So I'll try to find a Dominican place, see if I can shimmy away a sandwich. By the way, speaking of shimmies, we got Jimmy on the Discord. Jimmy, are you there? Well, he just dropped out. He heard me. He said, "Oh shit, I'm on the air."
Big Jim, what happened?
He left. But what was he gonna say? Oh, we're talking about. Yeah.
Hey, BD, I have a question. Do you remember how the reaction was when Tyson Fury retired? When he was going, I mean, when he did that retire before the rematch. Did he say he had mental problems or like he's going through some mental illnesses?
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
he failed the drug test. He was on steroids and he made up some excuses. That's how that went.
Yeah, I was trying to look that up though. I couldn't find. I don't remember. I think he did. It did. He pulled out the fight, and then they said, "Yeah, it's because he's going through a rough patch." And everyone was like, "What the fuck, man?" And then for 2 years, people were talking, "Oh, when is Tyson Fury coming back?" And I remember saying, "I don't want to talk about this guy unless he finally steps foot in the ring. Until then, I don't want to hear it." All right, hold on. I think we got Jimmy. Jimmy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Jimmy,
How are you?
thank you for joining us. I
What's
got
going on, man?
Not much, man. Keeping up a good conversation here. I'm having a good time with Kevin and 92 AKU on StreamYard. And listen, we were talking about what's this? Ryan Garcia. Because I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard about what happened. Right, that he pulled out of the Fortuna fight, and then it turns out
mental issues or something.
Yeah, mental issues, and then it turns out there's a photograph of him or some sort of TikTok video. He's with a woman in a bikini.
Of which some hot chick.
Right,
Yeah,
right. You saw it, right?
Puerto Vallarta or something in Mexico.
Right.
Down
so
on
now
the beach.
We're trying to figure out. Look, it's not the
hotel.
first time he's pulled out of fights. Like Steve Kim told us here on the show, he was talking about how the rumor was that he wanted money for a fight, and that even if the fight didn't happen, he still wanted to get paid. It's like, do we buy what this guy's selling, or what's your opinion on this?
Well, my thing is this, right? Usually when you're under stress, if it's a clinical diagnosis, they'll usually ask for, offer maybe a couple of days in-house. I mean, remember, he released that, who knows when the diagnosis was made. All right, put it this way, say he went to the doctors, and I'm not sticking up with this kid at all. I'm not fucking, you know what I mean, co-signing anything for him. I'm just telling you, if he went to a doctor and he was really suffering mental, they might do a 48-hour, let's just check for sleep deprivation, and they do go through all the tests. They might, keep him for a hold. Depends if how deep into depression he is. If not, they'll tell him to rest. So when you have endless money and you don't work, and if you pulled out of a fight and you need rest and relaxation, you would seem that you would go down like that. That's what I would do if I wanted to rest my head. Go down and chill with a chick on the beach or whatever. But it's not good optics. You know what I mean? Like you make that. If you're gonna announce that, you don't do it. And I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I'm working the press camp, and he's doing a balcony shot overlooking this fucking harbor at this $3,000 a night hotel room. It's like, you're not going to get much sympathy from people, especially when you're pulling out of a fight in a niche sport where good fights are like fucking, it's like a fucking truth from a Democrat. Like it never happens.
Oh, come on. No, wait, why'd you get to...
Oh, I'm just fucking wrong. But you know what I mean, dude. It's just too rare to be pulling out of fights.
Yeah, by the way, you guys can hear Jimmy, right? On the StreamYard?
I hear him loud and clear. Jimmy,
right.
You're spot on. Me and BDA, we've been holding it down, waiting for someone to come in and fill the void.
No.
Jim!
Hey, what about fucking Felix Vidal murdering his girlfriend?
Well, hold on that. It's still not clear what happened there, where we shouldn't be casting aspersions and saying he murdered. Because again,
let's look at what we know for facts. Okay, what they've already released. First, they said it was a pregnancy test. No, it was way beyond that. She had already confirmed pregnancy.
Oh.
She was meeting him to show the X-rays of the infant in the ultrasound, the first ultrasound. They found her missing car. The last known thing she told everybody, she was waiting for him to show up. He's a married man. The wife didn't know anything about her. Who knows what happened? She's just suddenly gone. This happened. He was called in. She went missing last Friday. So it's been 6 days. Nobody's heard nothing from her. Puerto Rico ain't that big. You know what I mean? It's like it's big, but where the fuck did she go? He was the last one to see. I mean, it's just... If I was the betting man at those Vegas odds, dude, if he didn't fucking do away with her, he had somebody who did.
Yeah, man. It's fishy. It doesn't look good for him. That's for sure.
No, it's also not a good PR look for boxing, too, because, like Erin Moriarty will be down there for 48 hours doing a show because, she was a pretty fucking girl. You know what I mean? She's Spanish plus blonde, so this will sell well. And he's the boxer, and they'll target the sport. And my thing is this: you know what his defense is going to go with? Concussion syndrome, because parts of concussion syndrome is violent outbursts. they'll try to play him as the victim. I'm just telling you, I can already see where this is going.
Where did you see the photographs of the? Oh, hold on, I think I found one. I think this is her.
I got one right here for you. I'll send it to you.
But are you on your
Right
computer?
here.
I got it. Are you on your computer,
I
by the
got
way?
it,
Or?
okay. Well, no, I already have one because somebody sent it to me.
Yeah, I'm putting it up on the screen here. Oh, actually, it's video from Telemundo. Oh, Telemundo. They got some hot chicks on that fucking news. Oh, hold on. Not her. But actually, yeah, send me the. Oh, there it is. I think this is her. Kayla Marlene Rodriguez. Oh, what is it with this fucking all
This is
four
her,
names,
right?
man?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see the. I think she was like, yeah, that's her right there. I don't know if you can see that picture I sent.
Yeah, that's she's a good-looking
And
girl.
this is, yeah, I know, and this is Video right here. This is how I found out because, of course, that kid Haymanites let me know.
Nah, we
He
don't need
sent
to
me
see
this
Verdejo.
picture.
I mean.
Oh, you sure? Oh, because yeah. All right.
Oh, okay. That. I just saw the picture. Yeah. Come on, man. Hold on, let me show it here. On the,
That's brutal.
That's from Haymanites.
Yeah, Haymanites. You go. He didn't even tweet it out. He just sent it to me to DM. He goes, "You hear about Video?" I was like, "What?" So I made me Google it. I'm like, "That's sick, fuck."
Oh no. Oh, hey, listen, this fucking Verdejo finally got a big win in there. 2-for-1.
Yeah, right?
Jeez,
Oh my God. Video.
Sick bastard, man. Allegedly, because nothing's been proven yet. But yeah, it doesn't look good, man. Hey, by the way, people
He's
are saying.
married too. She was a side piece. Oh yeah, no, not good.
Just real quick, Chris K in the chat says, "Damn, that Madeleine fight was boring." Yeah, I didn't see it. I was gonna watch it afterwards, but if you're telling me it's boring, fuck it, man. I'll watch it another day. Yeah, Jimmy, tomorrow, man. Luis Ariola. Are you even like Aku was telling me he doesn't pay for fights? And before we get to you, Jimmy, hold on. Yeah, Aku, you don't pay for anything, any of those fights?
No.
What is it? Just because you don't think that? Yeah.
Not worth it. Like, what was the last fight pay-per-view? Like, oh, glad I got paid that pay-per-view.
Well, hold on. That's the other thing. Like, for example, the last fight that, even though it wasn't mega mainstream, whatever you want to call it, was Lomachenko Lopez. That got the community fired up, and that was on ESPN. Like, you don't got cable or nothing, or
The last pay-per-view was Davis Santa Cruz, I believe.
I paid for that one. It was like a little $5.99, and I got to watch it. Yeah, I paid for that one.
All right. So you do pay for fights. Okay, just wanted to get that straight now.
Yep, only fights I pay for.
What was the last pay-per-view that
Go ahead.
The last pay-per-view was Fury.
What was the last fight you had that you?
Yeah, the last pay-per-view was Fury Wilder 2. That was the last one that I said, "Yep, I'm going for this one."
ESPN, I got it in my plan, on my Comcast plan. So I get all those fights, all those top ranked fights. Only fights I pay for, I stream illegally are the Zone, Showtime, and what other fights are there? The Zone fights I stream illegally, and the Showtime boxing fights I stream illegally.
Well, apparently Fury Joshua, if it happens, it's going to be ESPN pay-per-view over here.
I'll stream that illegally too.
I like how Kevin's just putting it all out there. Like, yeah, I streamed this illegally, I streamed that illegally. Jimmy,
I ain't got $60, man. I don't got $60 for a couple hours of entertainment.
Come on,
I'm
get
broke.
to work,
It's
man.
a joke, man.
All right, Kevin. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, man.
What I do is I might pay for the Joshua Fury one, but like if it's like not a pay-per-view, I feel like that's worth being a pay-per-view. A lot of these pay-per-views aren't worth being on pay-per-view. You got people saying like, "Oh, you're not supporting the sport," and I feel like I'm supporting the sport by not paying for it.
Exactly.
Because it's gonna make them not put the shit on pay-per-view like we're tomorrow. You feel me?
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. We got to pay for these guys. Like, if somebody does somebody has a job and they do poorly at it, they perform poorly at it. What, I got to support them? Nah, man. Same thing with these pay-per-views. If they're poor pay-per-views, I ain't gonna buy them. Jimmy, when it comes to the Arreola Ruiz pay-per-view, what are they expecting? Like it's $50. The undercard
$50, yeah, $49.99.
What are they looking at to break even here, or like what's a success for them?
Well, I haven't seen the purses, so you figure you got to add up the purses of all the fighters involved, and then it's because whatever they take in, the provider gets 50%.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens with that.
Hold on 1 second, brother. No, I'm going to mute myself. Somebody's coming.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, it looks like, look, they're doing it for 50 buckaroos. It's because they had to do this fight. They had to get Luis a fight and some of the other guys on there. Like, okay, fucking Arislandi.
Okay, Showtime wasn't. I'm sorry, Showtime wasn't going to flip any of the bill. That's what it came down. When they released their numbers, when Showtime released their coming schedule, you saw that, right? Mm-hmm, all those fights. Yeah. Did you notice it was really? I mean, there was the Charlo Cantno fight, which is a good one. That's a decent fight. And then there was the Bravos one with Davis. It's pay-per-view. The rest were like, none of their top guys are even close. Really, like, what the fuck? Kind of odd. It's because it was only so much money Heyman has to spend. Showtime, that was it. Showtime said, listen, this is what you got. So you're Heyman, now you have this fucking 150 guys signed under you, and you got to find spots for. So that's why Errol Spence said, when is Fox going to release their schedule? Because they haven't done it yet, because they're probably like, well, we don't want to release it so soon after Showtime because Fox is going to be all pay-per-views. I bet she's going to release like 4 or 5 pay-per-views at once, like the coming attractions. Like you're going to have to pay minimum $50 every time Spence fights now until things change.
That's insane, man. Yeah, I mean, by the way, I think you meant to say the Charlo versus what's the other guy? Castaño fight. Yeah, that's the one you said, right? Castaño.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
That's unification.
That's a very good fight right there. That's one of the top fights. That's what you call a Jew? What?
Oh, that's the crown jewel.
Oh, the crown jewel. Yeah, I thought you said that's the Ken Jew or something like that. So what is it? What is that? What does Jews have to do with it? But you know, yeah, it's look. You guys are telling me you don't pay for fights, so I doubt very much you're gonna be purchasing the Arreola Ruiz fight. Other than that, oh, by the way, I wanted to bring something up here because Joseph Parker is also fighting tomorrow against Derek Chisora, the perennial contender. And the narrative that I'm hearing here in all the articles I read about Ruiz and Parker is they're rededicated. They know this is their last shot. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I found the fire. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, these are 2 of the top 10 heavyweights in the world, man. And the big thing to market these fights around them is their renewed work ethic. I'm thinking, isn't that a little sad that we're looking at this from 2 of the big top 10 guys in the heavyweight division? That there's
well, last time Arreola fought and he lost, he said, "If I don't win, I'm retiring," and he announces retirement. And
he said, "Joseph Parker, Jim."
No. Yeah, but Arreola is fighting Ruiz, so it's sort of goes in with the same category there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Ruiz Arreola.
Well, yeah, we're talking. Yeah, I mentioned Ruiz and Joseph Parker, and the fact that they're the whole thing is, oh, look at them now. They're rededicated. You know, Ruiz is losing so much weight. Parker now is training with Andy Lee, and I'm thinking, why is the narrative about how essentially we're supposed to applaud them for getting their act together? That they're supposed to have gotten their act together. That's why they're fighters, and that's why they get paid the money they do. So I just thought it's sad the way that they're banking on people watching this fight just because they might or might not have rediscovered their work ethic. You know, that's the thing with these fighters, man. They get paid to be at the top level, and they can't train properly. Luis, and by the way, can I say something too as well? Luis, the whole thing about, oh, look at how much weight he's losing. Look how. What does that mean? Because if he can lose the weight, but does that mean he's gonna push during the fight? Is he gonna push himself? Is he gonna throw more shots? That, you know, I've seen guys before in the past that they get in the best shape of their lives and then they just do slightly better because they're just not that good. Maybe it's the same thing with Luis. What do you guys think?
They always do that. It's talking point, that selling point. Oh, this time's different. We really showed up taking this seriously. Best training camp of my life. That's because they want to say that, oh, this fight's going to be a banger because we really prepared. Same talking point, just a selling point.
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
find either boxers interesting, so I probably won't be watching it.
And that's coming from a guy that could watch it if he wanted to. Jeez, Louis. See, it just goes to show you how mediocre that the heavyweight division is. I mean, it's interesting because you got Usyk, you got Joyce, you got obviously Fury and AJ getting into it. But Luis and Parker, let me tell you something. They will never be the number one guy unless Luis pulls off another upset over Joshua. He's not beating Fury. Because I just think mentality wise, he's just not as strong as Fury, and he's just not that tall either.
I wouldn't say never. That one dude on ESPN almost beat Fury, so I wouldn't say. I think that Andy Ruiz is better than him.
Who almost got to Fury? You said
when they did that cut. What was his name? I forgot his name already. He's pretty good.
Wallin.
Like a couple months ago. Yeah, Wallin. Otto.
He
Otto.
caught him. He caught him with. I mean, it was a cut, but he wasn't beating him on the cards or anything.
No, but it was in. They're like they might have stopped the fight, and it was like within like 6 rounds or something like that. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. But I mean, turns out they didn't stop the fight, and he ended up winning anyway. So, but what I'm saying is that's the thing, though. Okay, it was a dangerous cut, but what I'm saying is when Ruiz beat Joshua, he did it because he was better that night. He didn't do it over a cut. Like if Luis fights Fury, I don't think he beats him. I don't think he cuts him, and I don't think he knocks him out. It's just a bad styles matchup for.
No one does.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So, but if so, that's what I'm saying. So Luis, he's just not that good. That the whole reason people keep saying that, oh, he's one of the best.
You want to see that though?
Huh?
Wouldn't you want to see that fight though? I'm already excited for it. It's not even. You just made it up right now. I want to see that fight.
Yeah, I would like to see it, but what I'm saying is this: that, like to Kevin's point, with Ruiz, the whole allure is, oh, if he finds the fire, if he comes in shape, even if he comes in shape, I don't think he beats Fury. So I don't think they're trying to make it out to be as if he's this guy with this unlimited hidden potential, but he's not. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's a little bit, he's a bit of a manufactured product.
It's a mirage, dude. He's decent skilled for a fucking big dude, but come on. I mean, they sunk hundreds of millions of dollars into that fucking rematch. Saudi Arabia put up that site fee. I mean, what did he get? $75 million, Joshua? And that kid showed up like like a bag of shit. That was just terrible to show up in that shape. And then to say, I didn't take it serious. Well, if you ain't get serious for that fight, how the fuck am I supposed to think you're serious about anything else?
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's just, look, he's a good fighter, and he's a dangerous fighter because he's fat, but he can hit hard, and he's got quick hands. But I think
he's got a blockhead.
He's a block. Yeah, he's a bit of a blob head, actually. Blob, because he's a fat, so get it. By the way, we got Mike from Boston on the stream here. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, man?
How you doing? Listen, we're talking about Ruiz and how they're trying to market him as if he's this guy with hidden potential, and that all he needs is somebody to bring it out of him. He's going to be this unbeatable star. What do you think about Ruiz? Do you think whether he gets in shape or not? Do you think he's that good, or do you think he's always he is what he is and what we've seen so far, a limited fighter?
I mean, I think we've seen the best of him. I mean, I don't really know what more to say about it. I mean, he's got good hand speed. He can fight. The guy can fight, but I don't know if we can expect, amazing things from him in the future.
To be or not to be, that is the question. We will see.
Yeah, I think the question with Luis is to eat or not to eat. What's that?
Yeah, I think we just got to see the eye. Like we got to use kind of the eye test because Ariola is not that good of an opponent. So we're going to use a little bit of eye test on Saturday when we if you buy it or if we legally stream it, like most of us are.
I mean,
you just have to use eye test.
I mean, fucking, let's be honest, man. Ariola was a shot fighter fucking 5 years ago. This is just, it's absurd. It's a pay-per-view. It's an insult to intelligence, actually.
And it's whatever it might be, I agree with that. Though it's a shit pay-per-view fight, but it's a very good stylistic matchup for Luis because we all know Arriola's gonna jump on him, and that's what Luis wants. He wants guys that are gonna come to him so he can catch him with those scanners. And look, Arriola has improved under Goosen, but like Jimmy said, he's past his prime, he's past his peak. Expiration date has come, and so I think he's gonna get cut. And it's a little bit the same thing with Joseph Parker Chisora, although that one I think is gonna be tougher. But again, Parker, I think, is the type of fight he needs. Somebody that's going to come to him. Because we've seen the fights where guys don't go at him. He just likes to stay on the outside, drop his hands, jab here, jab there. Not that very active. So what do you guys think? If Luis gets past Arriola, which I think we all believe he will, what do you want to see for Luis? What's next for him?
I mean, it's hard to say. Sorry, go ahead.
You could throw him in there with anybody, man. He's still got a name. Still got a name power. You could throw him in there with Wilder. You could throw him in there with Usyk. You could throw him in there with Chisora, Dillian White, Povetkin. You can name it. He'll throw him in there. He's got the name power. He's got the big win over Joshua. So he's always going to be in the mix.
I think he loses though to the three guys, to Wilder, Fury, or Joshua. I think he loses to all those three guys.
What I want to see is this is a pay-per-view. They better build this up for something. I don't want to see versus if he wins KO. I don't want to see Chris Yola or Parker. They better set up Wilder versus Reese. And what I'm interested in seeing is will Wilder be in the arena? That's what I'm looking forward to. If he's in the arena, they're going to build that up.
That's a good question. Yeah, because Wilder did resurface.
Well, he's been in Vegas, right, training?
Yes,
I read somewhere. Oh no, that's Tyson Fury. Sorry.
Well, Wilder, I think too, right? Didn't he resurfaced?
Wilder has surface training. They shown videos of him training with Malik Scott.
He made some statement on was it Twitter or Instagram? He put out some shit. He was just talking some shit. It looked like towards Fury.
Well, that's the other thing is Bob Byram is getting his his panties in the bunch a little bit about how the Fury Joshua fight's not happening. It's taking too long to negotiate, blah blah blah, and that they might as well go up and beat Wilder a third time. But do we really think Fury's gonna take less money against Wilder and throw the AJ fight aside?
No, I don't think so.
No,
he'd be walking away from a minimum of $75 million. That's just for the site fee. That's not even his purse. So that's what he was going to get from the site fee. So think about it. Who's even what would be the site fee for Fury Wilder? $2 million? $3 million?
Yeah, he ain't walking away from that. I mean, we know he's crazy, but I don't think.
I was about to say, unless he's crazy.
Unless he's crazy, yeah. Hey, imagine him and Ryan Garcia. He's loco,
but he's not that loco.
That's right. Hey, imagine
he turns out $3,000 fucking Versace shirts and shit. Versace, excuse me, for shirts. Because he bragged about it on his Instagram page.
No kidding.
Because Eddie Hearn said something about him sitting around Vegas wearing his Versace shirts. He was like, "That's right, these are Versace." And so I looked it up, and it charged like $3,000 for that shirt.
$3,000 for a shirt. Now I don't mind what people do with their money, but that seems a little outrageous to me, man. $3,000 for a shirt?
Yeah, you think crazy. Yeah, paying for the name.
What was that?
I mean, it is nice material, those shirts. They use the best silk, the best cotton. They feel nice, but $3,000, I'm saying you're not just paying for the, it is quality stuff, but it's not worth more than $300.
That's right.
$3,000. You're just paying. You spend $3,000 so you can tell people I spent $3,000. That's all. You know what I mean? That's all that is.
Wait, what's the most you guys have paid for an accessory, or for some type of garment?
For a shirt?
For a shirt.
I spent $320 once for a custom-made Italian shirt, which was outrageous in the 90s.
Let me guess. You were trying to get a girl with it or something, or?
No, I was going to a wedding And because I was built the way I was built, I could never buy anything off the rack. So what I'd have to do is buy any shirt in a double to triple XL, and then have about 18 inches cut off the length, have this waist cut in. They would end up cutting it up so much. My tailor said, "Why don't you just pick out some really good fabric and find a tailor?" And I was like, "You know what? Fucking right." So I did that. I got this like light purplish, crazy fucking cotton blend from Italy with this crazy pattern, and he made it for me for like $300 and something bucks.
Yeah, because for those of you that don't know, Jimmy used to look like Ander Luis back in the 90s. That's what he's talking about.
Exactly.
No, so you have to actually get
$49.99 for a pair of Levi jeans, faded with the bootstraps.
I tell you, Kevin.
No,
Kevin
I
is
don't know how much, man. I couldn't tell you.
Kevin is a salt of the earth type of guy. Let me tell you something. He brings his lunch belt to work every day. He does what he's got to do. He doesn't complain. And if he sees something crazy going on, he's not gonna hold out on you. He's gonna let you know. So Kevin, I respect you, man. Absolutely. Anybody else? What's the most you've ever spent on a garment?
I bought. Well, not the most, but something silly I bought was I don't know how I feel about it. I bought a $35 Crusher hat, like Kovalev's Crusher hat.
You bought Kovalev's Crusher shirt for $35. All right.
He said some crazy. Yeah, his hat, and I don't rock it anymore, like because he's done some like kind of like shady stuff. So but I'm still a fan of what he like on the ring. But out the ring, he's kind of said some weird stuff.
I thought you didn't care if what happened outside the ring.
I don't, but he said some like he's done something like finger bang some chick on an airplane, I think, and
So if you would have finger banged that dude, you would have been fine with it. Like I don't get.
I don't know about that.
How about this?
All right, but
I bought $200 Big Brawler brand sneakers because LeVar Ball is my favorite celebrity.
All right, I think you're breaking our balls over here. We're all trying to be serious here, and you come up with that. Mike, what? How about you, man?
Shit, man. I most expensive shit that I bought, man. I bought my suit I wore at my wedding. That's probably the most expensive shit. But I never really paid for any like, shirts or shit like that. It was never really my thing.
Right. No, I got you. I paid for like work shirts and shit like that, like quality work shirts. I think about like $100 a pop. A whole bunch of them. That's the most I've ever spent. Yeah, if you're gonna spend $3,000 for a shirt, it better get you laid, get you the best job possible. Maybe you get you like a discount or something on the Lexus or something. I don't know, but just the $3,000 on a shirt, I cannot go for that. Somebody, what are people saying in the chat room? So Overhand says, if I'm paying premium for a shirt, it better be durable and made with the best material. Well, yeah, you expect that. Friendly Fire says, lightweight backpacking gear was my most expensive clothing purchase. All right, there you go. Camping backpacking gear, he said.
Also, a stupid purchase buying the Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd for $100.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people. You're not alone with that one, man. A lot of people kick themselves in the ass for purchasing that pay-per-view. All right, so we got those fights tomorrow. Parker versus Chisora. We got the Arreola Ruiz pay-per-view. It is what it is. And then the week after that, is that Canelo's fighting on the 8th, right? Hold on, let me check.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right, with Saunders. Yeah, is it next week or 2 weeks? Hey, what about Top Rank? What about Vasil Lomachenko? That's kind of a fucking... There's no way in hell Bob didn't do that on purpose. Matching Lomachenko against the Japanese kid on the same night as the Davis Barrios pay-per-view. Like they weren't going to make money anyways. And just to do that was such a fucking kick in their nuts.
The last time I remember them Top Rank getting into sort of a war with... again, it could have happened. There could have been other fights in between, but I distinctly remember when Hopkins fought Tarver. That was on pay-per-view. That was a Golden Boy card. And Bob Arum held the Cotto Malignaggi fight on pay-per-view too. And his undercard was actually better because they had a whole bunch of fights. None of them were really fights, but the undercard was pretty good. And it was also, I think it was on the eve of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, or after something like, that's what the tradition that Cotto took on later on when he was fighting in June, whatever. But yeah, that's it. So you're saying they're actually, you're saying Bob Arum is doing it as a kick in the nuts, Jimmy?
What's that, brother?
You're saying they're doing it on purpose. You're saying they're doing it on purpose. The Lomachenko fight at the same day as.
I believe so. I think this is his way of like. He knows that he tried to take over the sport, and on top of that, he knows that his. I know everybody likes to say Bob this, Bob that, and again, I'm not carrying water. I'm just saying, at least he goes across. He knows he has to go across promotions to fight somebody. And this is the reason why David's fighting Barrios, because there's really nobody at 135 in the PBC, I guess, that they think it's worthy. So he's just trying to keep everything in house right now. They don't want any there. So when you hear Charlo say, "Well, Gigi, where are you at, Cinnamon?" It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. You ain't fighting Cinnamon. You ain't fighting outside the PBC. You're gonna beat up on. I think they're gonna feed him the Darrell, and then after that, they're gonna have him fight Plant. That's what I think is gonna happen.
Oh my goodness! How many times can they bring the Darrell boys out of the cemetery for another fight? I mean, it's getting a little.
Well, I'm sorry, not Darrell. Which one is the one that Benavidez beat up? He kept sticking his tongue out during the whole fight. That's all he did.
Yeah, Anthony Darrell.
Benavidez. Was it? Yeah, I gave him a fucking beating. It was such a joke. Yeah, he hasn't retired. So I think what they're going to do now is just reuse him, and most likely they'll feed him to Plant, and then Plant will fight Benavidez. Charlo. But no matter what, it'll be in-house. There will be no cross promotions until Heyman goes away or loses control of that place.
Hey, I tell you what, though. Speaking of undercards, the one that I heard, it's actually pretty good, is Logan Paul is fighting Floyd. Hold on a second. Logan Paul is fighting Floyd Mayweather. Actually, I think I read, where is it here? Okay, it's not here, but I read that Baidu Jack and Pascal's rematch is going to be on the undercard of that fight.
The third one, right? Isn't that the third fight?
No, it's the second time. Second. And I mean, the first one was pretty good. And then there was another fight on that one. Hold on, let me check does anybody know what it is? The undercard? Hold on, let me check it out here then.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I'm checking it out. Shout out to Jaguar for his contribution. Says saludos from San Diego. All right. Thank you, Jaguar, for your contribution. Really appreciate it. Okay, so Mayweather, Logan Paul. Who's on the undercard? To be determined. Oh, where did I see it then? That they were talking about the undercard. Talk Sport. Hold on a second. It's an exhibition, but I mean, by the way, Jake, this Logan Paul kid, I mean, he's pretty big too, right? Like his brother, or?
Yes, actually, I think a little taller, maybe.
Like 6 feet taller.
Jeez, Luis, yeah, that's if not for nothing, that's going to be interesting to see, just to see what happens. But I still think Mayweather's just going to run circles around him after a while. But yeah, okay. So the
I hope Logan Paul gets knocked out cold. Logan Paul is he's a little punk because he realized everyone came down on him, and he turned into a little cuck. He went to Black Lives Matter, and he turned into a little social justice warrior softy because he knew he had to change his image. But that's why I like Jake Paul.
He got caught in one of the fucking. He got caught during the looting. He was in one of the malls.
No, that was Jake Paul. That wasn't.
Oh, that was Jake. Okay, I knew it was one of the Pauls. He got into that.
Logan Paul turned in. He was doing the little marches. He was at the marches and saying, "Oh, I have my white privilege," and he was being a little bitch. Jake Paul,
he actually said, "I have my white privilege." You actually used that term.
Kevin, please don't get Jimmy started, Kevin.
Maggot.
Kevin, please don't get
something along those lines.
Nah.
He turned into a little bitch.
Now I hope he dies in the ring.
Come on. Okay, come on, man. Hey, real quick. Blue Collar Sports TV says, yeah, the other fight on that undercard is Luis Arias versus Jarrett Hurd. That's actually a pretty good fight, man. I mean, it's not a wow fight, but that
Arias is terrible, dude. You're just being very kind.
No, but
Arias sucks, dude.
I think it's gonna
pillow-fisted.
But it's gonna be interesting because Hurd is gonna be coming forward, trying to break.
Yeah, but Hurd, dude, I'm done with Hurd. I lost all. Listen, after he had that fucking, just because he had two hard fights, who did he fight? He beat Lara, and then he fought somebody. Was it J-Rock? I know he had 2 decent fights, and then he lost.
Well, he
lost.
Trout.
No, he lost to J-Rock. That's right. But so he beat Lara, and then he won. Beat J-Rock. So really, after that, he had to take 2 years off. And did you see the fucking stiff they put him in with? So instead of grabbing that and continuing forward, he took fucking garbage fights and then just didn't fight for a year and a half.
To be fair, though, Jimmy, he did beat what's his name? The guy that fought.
Are you gonna say Aston Trout? You're not gonna say Trout.
Well, he beat Austin Trout. He beat Lara. He beat Tony Harrison.
Yeah, Trout. I mean, he beat Austin Trout. What was Austin Trout? Fucking 52.
Nah, but he stopped him.
I mean, he was a shell of himself, though, dude. You know that.
I actually don't know that. I actually don't know that because Charles couldn't stop him. Canelo couldn't stop him. This guy went in there.
No, not stop. That doesn't. You know what I mean? Yeah, he'll hang into the end. But what Trout had, all his best thing was his angles, his speed. He just lost it. He just doesn't have it anymore. That's the reason why. Like he even said, he was contemplating after his last loss. I remember he said he was really contemplating for first time retirement. Because he knows he doesn't have it anymore. So, like, why do you have him in there fighting still? It's just because I think he has a fight coming up too, doesn't he?
Austin Trout. Oh yeah, wasn't he the one they're trying to pit him in there against Caleb Plant? No, who was it?
Yeah, no, I know they were trying to put him in recently. They was just talking him come back. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But even then, dude, he wasn't the same after Canelo. I think that was at the height of Trout, but he just was never had that punching power. But I never had any issues with Trout, but towards the end, by the time fucking Hurd fought him, nah, he wasn't the Trout of old.
Yeah, Trout is an interesting case, because he beat Miguel Cotto. I mean, he actually beat a bona fide all-time great. But it was a stylistic matchup. In hindsight, he was a very big guy at southpaw. Canelo couldn't quite catch him because Cotto couldn't catch him because he's never had a good right hand to fight a southpaw with. He couldn't outbox him. He couldn't knock him out. So it was just bad matchup. But then when Trout fought Lara, he lost that fight. Charlos beat him. So yeah, it's a weird case. He's got a very good win against Cotto, and that's pretty much it.
Plus, honestly, I heard him on the Boxing Baby podcast and saying a lot of fucking just nasty shit. Race hustle, and I was just lost so much respect for him. Oh
isn't
yeah,
he married to
big time dude.
Isn't he married to a white girl though?
I don't know, but I know who Boxing Baby is, right? That outly, at least I respect the fact that she doesn't hide it. She straight up says I'm racist. Boxing Baby. She has like fucking 600,000 people on her Instagram page.
I don't know who that is.
Just I support black boxers only. That's what it says on her Twitter page. Only in big capital lettering.
Wait, it's a woman you're saying?
Yes, Boxing Baby. Miss Boxing Baby. Actually, that's her name. Miss MS. Yeah, Miss Boxing Baby.
Is it a big fat black woman or?
Yes, well, she's got a big ass. She's a nurse in Chicago.
Oh, jeez. Could you imagine being a white guy?
And she's the one, put it this way, she's the one who banged Trout. Trout was one of her favorite. Listen, I heard this. I said it on the next round. No, I said it on the next round. And Steve laughed. And then after, when I talked to him he's like, dude, I heard the same thing in a DM. I said, yeah, no, I did too. She was big into the Philly scene for whatever reason, even though she's Chicago. And then somebody tweeted it out after one of the fighters saying, because she said she was angry about something, said, oh, what's the matter? They run a train on you, and now you can't get any more interviews. I was like, whoa, my God.
Wait. I gotta. What? Now you got me going here, man. What's her name? Like what? The Boxing Baby.
Miss Boxing Baby. Yeah, if you go to Twitter or Instagram or even YouTube, I don't know about YouTube, but I know her Instagram thing is her big one she pushes. And but she's got a Twitter page.
She banned.
Ucho knows exactly who she is.
Is this? I don't know if you can see it on the because you can't see the screen.
Yeah, I'm on my phone out.
Yeah.
Let me get it up.
I think that's her because it says Miss Boxing Baby on Twitter and she's got threats, threats, but what do you call it?
With Floyd Mayweather? Is she pictured with Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, there's one with Floyd Mayweather there. Yeah. So
yeah,
she
that's
banged
her
Austin.
God. So
she banged Austin Trout, huh?
Not just that. The thing was, Muslim RN is her name. So she's a wicked Muslim and she preaches all that shit. But yeah, Jared Hurd mixes. Yeah, I'm on her page right now. Just went to Miss Boxing Baby, the Queen they call her, and she is militant black. And Trout was one of her favorites to have on the show, and she used to. But anyways, the story was that the bunch of fighters ran a train on her one night, at a Philly gym.
But how? It's, okay, wait a minute. When the gyms were open here, I was a bit of a gym rat. Never saw no fucking gangbangs going to the gym. It's like, what? How does that
probably
happen?
what I mean, but if you're a professional fighter, you might hang around after the place is closed or be there on the weekend. Who knows? But whatever gym it was in Philly. But yeah, she was there, and like I said, it was just funny because I said to Steve. Steve said he heard the same thing, and then it wasn't within seriously, bro. Within 2 days, a fighter from Philly tweeted out because Steve DM'd me laughing. He was like, "Ha, look at." I'm pretty sure it was Steve. Yeah, I know I said it on the show, and Steve said he heard the same thing at one point. But yeah, it definitely this went down, dude. I'll locate all that shit. But yeah, the rumor was
Now we're
that
talking.
Trout and a few of his boys ran a train on her.
Whoa.
Woo-hoo.
Hey, listen. Here's Austin Trout's wife. Not a bad looking girl. I think she's up there. She's a good looking woman. And this guy's banging, and not just banging her, he's gang banging her with a bunch of other fighters in a grimy gym somewhere. And she's not even that other woman, Miss Baby or whatever her name is. She's not even. I'm sorry, she's not. I wouldn't fucking put my marriage in jeopardy because of that. That's disgusting, man.
That's hot.
You know, Kevin, you've been watching too much porn, man. That's your problem. Your brain has become has rewired itself to believe that this type of trash is actually arousing. No, but Jimmy, that's interesting, man. So she makes no qualms about it. She's militant, she's racist, and what are you gonna do about it? That's her spiel, right? All right. Well, I think it is. I was just trying to make sure because what the fuck is this? See, I don't. You.
I'm sorry. I thought I was unmuted. I'm sitting there answering you, and I'm muted. Jesus. Yeah. Yes, she is.
All right.
Extremely militant. She doesn't hide it either. I support black fighters only. You don't like it? Fuck off. So I respect the fact that she doesn't hide it. At least she keeps her fucking straight out bigotry out in the open for everybody to see.
By the way, how can she? Oh, stop it. How can she call herself a militant, but she doesn't have that militant black hair? You know, the afro like in the 70s. She's got like a fucking weave. I'm not a weave. Extensions or something.
She's a wannabe. She's a
wannabe. Yeah. And look at her. Here he goes. He goes, this is her Twitter page. She goes, I love it when T-Bud comes on my live. Much respect to my number one pound for pound Miss Boxing Baby, the only queen of this shit. All videos by yours truly. My black kings and queens. Y'all letting them media win. Posting about how toxic most black men and women are. How you can't wait to try another race. We have to stop putting that ignorant mess out there. One bad apple don't spoil the bunch. Stop it. Black kings and queens, yeah. I don't remember kings and queens having to loot during protests. You know, the Target and the 7-Eleven. I mean, kings don't actually do that. But hey, whatever floats your boat, I suppose.
Shit.
Now, what was I gonna say? I was gonna ask you, fella. I was gonna ask you. So, because Jimmy talked, I didn't even know this person existed. So, I wanted to ask you, fellas, Kevin from Chicago and Mike from Boston. Do you frequent boxing Facebook sites and Twitter sites and all that, or do you stick mostly to YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay, come on, Kevin. Come on, what's the matter with you, man?
No, that's it, man. I usually just some Twitter. I follow some Twitter people, Instagram, and YouTube. That's it. I don't do Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Mike, how about you, man? Mike's
gone.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my Fredo impression. Mike, you not come to Vegas and talk to a man like him like that. What was the guy's name? Mo Green, yeah. You not come to Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like
that. You sounded like him.
All right. But, yeah, man, listen. I think we covered everything we're going to cover. What else was I going to say? Yeah, Jimmy, we're going to work on Second Renaissance because I want to introduce you to a couple of subjects that you might be interested in. Last time we were talking about.
Yes, I got that thing you sent me. You sent me a thing to check out.
I did. I don't remember.
From Thunderdome, right? Was that you?
Was that? Yeah. Okay. That was. Yeah. But I got other stuff.
Yeah,
so
anyway, I checked that.
Anyway, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Kevin from Chicago, Mike from Boston, Aku, who was here earlier as well on StreamYard. everybody who called in, everybody who joined us in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Enjoy the fights tomorrow. We'll catch you next one. All right, fellas, take it easy.